remember I went to one stage and the mayor was like right there next to me, like, yeah, I'm the mayor of this place. And I'm like, this
dude, get in a car.
Yeah. And then like you had cops, like you're like, stop. And then you'd stop, you're like, do a burnout. When I first saw it, I'm like, we are f***ing stupid, bro. We are going to die. We are dying. And like, no one died. So, like, yo, if you're sending me parking lot videos, man, deny, bro. I'm not even looking at it. Get the f out of here. Come on, get f***ing serious.
Do you believe that controversy is like a good thing for FD and just drifting in general?
Yeah, that's why we put it in the script.
Wanted this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy.
Welcome back to the #1 Drift Podcast on YouTube, presented by Injuku Racing. My name is Dawson, and today we have
Reese Marin.
Got you slipping there. But before we get into the podcast, as always, look below the video. Make sure that subscribe button is not still red. If it is, go ahead and hit that and hit the bell notification while you're at it so you never miss an episode. And also grab the merch. We will have some hats coming out. They were going to be black. Now they're going to end up being red. I'll throw a picture of them up here, so look out for those when they come out. And then also Atlanta. I am going to be at Fuel Fest October 19th doing ride-alongs with the KBD guys and Fortune Rap guys. We're going to be doing some giveaways, so if you buy a ride-along, you get entered into a chance to get giveaway credit to Injuku and KBD, of course Fortune Rap as well, and then there might be some other stuff. But yeah, come out to Fuel Fest, get the tickets now. I'll leave a link in the description for that. And yeah, we are actually not... Well, I guess kind of at Drift Appalachia right now.
Yeah, we are at the location for Stage 5 currently in the paddock area.
Sick. So the paddock is actually here.
Oh, you haven't seen it? All right. So
no, it's dark. It's right down there, right?
Yeah, you can hear everybody chit-chatting and stuff. Tomorrow, when you look in there, you're going to see all the drift cars.
Oh, that's
there was a
sick,
pig. Did
dude.
they tell you about the pig that they did?
What?
Oh, we had pig. We had rice. We had tostones.
Dude.
Yeah, we had Danny over here. He was cooking it up. We had like a whole pig roast. We had chicken.
Shoot.
Like,
I missed out.
We got
today.
the drifting part. Now we're getting the food situated, dude.
Sick. Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, yeah. So, tug drifting. I'm excited to experience it myself. Not driving. Lord knows my car's not even up to that level anyways. Neither is my skill. So first thing I wanted to hit on was the clarification on like what you think is the most important with Drift Appalachia. What do you think needs to be clarified the most?
Are you saying more so what needs to be clarified in the sense of how do I drive?
No, just like from us, obviously there's already been multiple stages now. So like you've had time to kind of experience multiple interactions with people outside and inside that are driving, not driving. Just from what you've experienced, what has stood out to you the most, I guess, the way I'm trying to explain it.
For me, because I'm in a very unique place where I get to help with the behind the scenes and I get to drive. It is how humbled you become when you come and you go down that mountain for the first time. And then you get to see all the other drivers who have this look on their face like, holy shit, like we're doing it right.
Yeah, they're not churching it up for the videos, I swear.
Yeah. No, we had the one dude here, Kev, who usually does the gamblers, and he's an up and coming dude. And he told me today, he's like, Reese, I usually see it on the videos. I'm like, oh, I can do that. Mm-hmm. And then I came here and I started doing it, and I'm like, yo, this is insane.
Literally every driver I've talked to that has done it.
Especially this layout is like, it's serious.
It looks nutty. It looks a lot faster than
I'm happy I brought
one.
the high horsepower car for this one, because the VQ that I usually drive wouldn't have even, I'd been at 90 PSI, I'd be doing dumb stuff. But yeah, I think that's what I see the most, is that, and the camaraderie. Mm-hmm. It's almost like when you get invited to, or you become part of the toge and you're a driver or staff or whatever it is, or you come as a crew member, like, it's like, damn, all right, so I'm in this group.
It's like a badge of honor almost.
I guess you
In a
could say
sense.
that, but it's like, it's just, for me, it's cool that you get to see so many different generations of drifting intermingling
That's
together.
true.
Because you have Brian Wilkerson, who's an OG. At the last one, you had J-Lo, Jeremy Lau, who's a ripper from way back in the day. So it's like mixing up these old school guys with some of the new school guys. Like I heard someone say like, oh, I wish it wasn't so much influencers. We do. We have a couple here and there. Like, we pay some bills. But like, we're talking like 3 or 4. You know what I mean? Everyone else is grassroots dudes. It's kind of like this is the opportunity for you to put yourself on the map if you're killing it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think the influencer thing only comes because they're the only ones really putting content out about
and if they
like long
rip-
form content.
Yeah,
at
if they
least.
rip like Taylor, like he rips.
Yeah, Grant too.
Yeah, Grant rips. Like those
Absolutely.
dudes, their job is, what they're doing and you're shooting video and stuff like that. But like, I was chasing Grant today. I was like, yeah, I'm down. I'm down to risk the biscuit with Grant. So I got no problem with that. So well earned. All those dudes that do show up, like, at least from my point of view, I feel like they've earned it, So
Absolutely.
I got no issue with it.
Hell yeah. Well, what the next one I wanted to ask was about spectation. So a lot of people obviously want to come and watch it. I'm very thankful that I'm able to watch it tomorrow. But why can't spectators come? Let's just keep it as simple as that.
So that's not entirely true because in stage 2 and 3, they did come. But you had to sign up and then we would take you to a safe location for you to do that. What we
Gotcha.
can do, especially in some of the stages, it's so big and we are sometimes on the side of a cliff that the last thing we need to hear is, or I'm assuming, right? I'm not saying this is Bible or I'm not saying this is the word, but I'm just saying like, I can only assume the last thing we want to hear is someone fell because they tripped and like it has nothing to do with
Yeah,
it.
snapped their ankle.
Yeah,
they
and we're
slipped
just
on a
like,
mountain.
we have nothing to do with that. So, but for stage 2 and stage 3, there was spectators. If I can give you, I don't know exactly the yay or nay with the spectators, but from what I have seen, it's depending what location we go to is when we can organize that. A location like today, you'll see tomorrow. Like there is a couple spots and you will see some people that are watching, but they're workers. They're flag workers and stuff like that. So a lot of people tell me like, man, I wish this could be like rally racing where you're just kind of like out there. But I'm not saying all the time. I mean, I know that there's rally stages where they're on the side of a cliff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for what we're doing, like, we just have to be cautious with everything. In my opinion,
There is such a fine line, especially with insurance too. Like insurance doesn't want to cover drifting, especially as much as rallycross. I mean, it's such a proven sport compared to drifting that like there's more understanding.
There's
there.
blueprints put in place
Right.
that allow that to happen, and a lot of props go to the rest of the guys involved with Drift Appalachia, Edgar, Brian Egger, all those dudes, because like, and Derek. Like Derek's, as far as I know, Derek King is the reason this really started forming because he's the one who was able to get in contact with the guys that were doing the hill climb. Yeah, like Derek King can race. Like that dude, that dude's a ripper. That dude's a driver. He gets it. And he brought this idea up, and then Edgar, everyone just kind of ran with it. We all came on board to try to make it happen, and it's been great. But what they do, talking to like the government and the officials and like, hey, we're at a state park right now. Yeah. I mean, like things that we would never think about being able to pull off. That type of homework and that type of what I want to say grown up work. A lot of props for them to make. I don't know who to talk to for that.
A lot of headache work.
Yeah, a lot of headache work. A
That's
lot of
what I
like,
call it.
oh, what is this again? I couldn't talk to any of
Yeah,
those
talking to
guys.
a bunch of white collar people that have not even the first clue
And
what
I'm
you're
sure-
trying to explain to them.
And like, we're grown-ups, right? Like, there has to be some sort of economic this or that or my back scratch. Like, we all know how this works.
Yeah.
Like, we're all, either in our late 20s or 30s. We understand how that works. Like, there is something that has to be done in this environment in order to make it happen. What it is that Brian Egger and Edgar does is it must be just a lot of hard work because I couldn't do that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so props to them
Not
for
at all.
making that happen. We can sit here and say, oh, let's get the drivers, let's do this, let's do that. No one wants to do the dirty work, which is talking to the officials and the mayor, the governor, whoever the hell they're talking to. I'm just shocked. I remember I went to one stage and the mayor was like right there next to me like, yo, this is amazing.
I heard that, yeah.
And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm the mayor of this place. And I'm like,
dude, get in a car.
Yeah, and then you had cops you're like, stop, and then you'd stop like, do a burnout. And I'm like, oh,
sure,
the cops
got it, yeah.
But obviously the town, they're all in on it. They gave us permission to drive around.
Though.
That's the best way. Well, you saw today. You get to do the event day one, and then you get to drive down to like the little center gathering downtown.
Yeah,
you get to vibe with everyone, and then you get to drive back in your drift car.
Dude, and I'm telling you, like it was like picture perfect type scenery on that little strip too. Like
it was good vibe.
Exactly what you would picture an old mountain town looking like.
Yeah, 100%. Imagine ski resort, only drift resort. Ooh. Drift resort. Don't steal that. That's mine.
That's basically Ebisu.
Ebisu
without a hotel.
Yeah, that's true. That's really what that is.
But no, so like I want to get into a lot of like the logistics stuff in a little bit, but the spectators, do we have a plan or a goal to be able to host a lot more spectation? Because I know the event is going to grow so much. So it's got to be able to house it eventually, right?
I do feel like maybe not all of them. Because it depends on the location.
Yeah, of course.
But if there's locations that that lend itself to make that happen in a safe way, like I said, stage 2 and stage 3. We allowed it to happen. People came. We were the first ones that did it. Yeah. Like, we had spectators from the gate. We just didn't make it a whole big thing. We were like, yeah, we have spectators. We had like 40 on the side of the mountain. They had a beautiful view to see everything. So, do I think it's something that they're going to plan on keep on doing in the future? Absolutely. But
it'll never impede, though, like, with what... Like, say, for instance, you have this track that would be immaculate to drive, like it's the ideal layout and right. Sorry, and then you have this other road that's like, it's not the best line or whatever it is, but you could add a lot more spectators. Like, would it ever influence that? You think, or are you always gonna kind of?
I don't have the final say on that, but what I can tell you is based off of everyone in Drift Appalachia, I don't think they would sacrifice the quality of the driving for the spectators.
Sick.
Like, the quality of the driving has to be a certain thing. We want the drivers to be very happy with what they're doing. Like, this is a pretty hard course, and if you're able to pull this one off, you feel pretty achieved. Like, man, I was able to pull something off. Because, like, there's some dudes here that are clicking fourth. And humming right now.
Even when I asked Vance, I was like, dude, what gear are you in, by the way, on this one? Because it looks way faster.
Third?
Yeah, he was in third. Christ, dude. Yeah. On a mountain road, that's fast.
Yeah, we're humming. Those dudes are humming. like when you're drifting with them, you're like, oh, we're not going that fast. And then you watch the video, or better, you go out there and watch it in person. You're like, yo, we're idiots.
Yeah, you get to see the elevation and the camber in the road and everything.
When I first saw it, I'm like, we are fucking stupid, bro. We are going to die. We are dying. And like, no one died. So, like, just a lot of feelings.
Okay, so I want to ask you, like, I know I said something about this earlier, but with Dan's episode, he said this might be the closest thing we've ever had to finding the line of death with drifting. Because so far, like he said, I've never heard of anyone dying from drifting.
Right.
Legal drifting.
Right.
But
I would say yes. I would say this is probably... We're pushing the envelope, but we do understand that there's a threshold to all of that.
Right.
If we push the envelope too hard, then the driving is going to suffer. Mm-hmm. The builds are going to have to start getting more complicated, and then it's going to.
It's already like the safety requirements.
I mean,
which is needed, very needed.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. At first, I'm like, we need all of that shit, dude. Like, what the fuck? But then, like. And this is coming from someone far, right? But then you watch what we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm an asshole for even thinking that.
Yeah. When I first saw the arm restraints, I was like, wait, why? Wait, hold on. People use those in drifting? Obviously, like pro level, I get it, but I was like, that's blew my mind. And then I really started thinking about it, and you see how much like even the best of drivers are frantic on that mountain road, which you have to be.
Because it's the grip, and I'm sure Dan told you, the grip on the mountain is, you know what, Brian Hopp, he deals with like asphalt and paving and stuff like that. He was telling me that he thinks that there's graphite on the street roads pavement that we don't get on the road. I don't know how true that is, but he says, I think it might be the graphite that's making it grippier, because on the roads, public roads, they need to use that. I don't know, somebody out there can figure out if that's true or not. But he was like, I think that's what it is. So I believe him, because I'm just like, well, that's what this dude does for a living. So like, why wouldn't he know?
Yeah, who am I to fucking question?
I'm like, yeah, sure, dude. You know?
Oh yeah, bro. Yeah.
But it's true, because like people out here are running like high pressures because it's so grippy.
Yeah. If you've ever tried, street drift in any fashion, I would assume know that.
Yeah, but it's
gonna be a little bit grippier.
It's gonna be a little grip, but you just don't expect what we're like.
I feel like once you're, especially, dude, whenever you put a helmet on, it's a different story.
Yeah,
inside of a car too. So like once
you're
you're suited up, got a helmet, arm restraints, especially, like it feels like you're on track.
Right.
No matter what.
But you got some guys that are showing up at like 300, 350. I'm like, oh, why do I got to air up my tires up to like 60, 70? You know, why
Vance said he was at 80.
Why am I taking side bite out? I'm like, yo, because it's fucking grippy, dude. Like, you know, you got to take it out. But people are figuring it out. There's a different method to the madness when it comes to what we're seeing out there, and you know, it's pretty wild. You know, I don't think we see what people do in Japan. We see like the toges where they're going downhill and pitch black, and then they're just killing it. You know, and it's cool to see that there's a bar. You know, we understand that's not legal, right? But we understand that there's a bar, and I think we're going to safely just going to keep on trying to push the bar a little bit to keep on leveling up the driving. I think all the drivers do great. So I'm excited what the future brings when it comes to us just trying to refine this more and more and more.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially recruiting and stuff like that. I do want to get to that in a second. Sure. Before, I know you don't have as much to do with the media side of things, but like I know a lot of, especially people that watch my stuff, because I run a media company as well. How does one become a media guy? What's the vetting process for that? Why is it very limited?
So I think when it comes to why is it so limited, at least from what I'm seeing, again, as a driver behind the scenes, we understand what we have. And if you don't think that, go look at one of the first videos I posted up, and it did 30 million views.
I saw that today.
I was like,
holy shit, when did it get that big?
Yeah, it was, and that was stage one. That was before anything popped off. So that was like the volcano effect. It started happening then. And it's dwindled down since, because that's just the way the world works. Right. You know what I mean? I think that depending who you are, and if you're bringing something to, because like, it takes a lot to do this. And everything needs to, and we can't, we at least need to get it covered. So if you're just giving out your goods to everyone, and like this company's using it for this and this company's using it for that, like you're kind of devaluing yourself. And I understand like, in the sport, you say that because you're not the ones dealing with it. We're the ones dealing with the people signing up, the applications. You got the guys dealing with the governor and stuff like that. I get it, because I was one of you dudes before, and all I cared about was just drifting. But as you get older, you start realizing, like, I now have to do the homework that no one talks about. Yeah. And in order for that to happen, there's going to have to be stipulations. Now, they may change it in the future. I don't know. But at least I think that everyone that's in charge understands what they have. They understand if someone wants to come here and do media, like, well, what are you bringing to the table? Yeah. Like, how are you going to help us grow? How are you going to help this? Yeah, we don't just need people to put whatever out there. At least that's how I see it. I agree with what they're doing. Is it hard to become a media person here? Sure, I think it is. I think you do have to be vetted. You have to talk to, Sean that's involved with Drift Appalachia, or reach out to reach out to Drift Appalachia. And people do reach out and say, hey, look, I'm trying to shoot. Sorry, you probably get denied, But maybe instead of you getting upset, you need to realize this goes for media guys or drivers. Hey, I want to come. Sometimes I'll go to your media page. I'll go to your Instagram because who doesn't? This is 2024.
Yeah.
Let me see your footage. Let me see you driving. Let me see your tandem. Let me see what shoots you take. Let me see what videos have you made, whether it's media or driver. And when I don't see anything that's valuable there, like, I can only assume the guys are thinking the same thing.
Usually, if you could just ask them, like, shoot me your portfolio.
Yeah.
I'll just say that, and then if they give me, like, something random or, like, oh, but whatever, this, that, and the third, you kind of understand they don't really, it's not that serious or whatever. You've never taken the time to, like, put together a genuine portfolio.
They're throwing a Hail Mary.
Yeah, right.
Which I get it. I used to throw Hail Marys, too, when I was younger, and I didn't understand. I get, because I've seen some of the media guys come through and want to do this. They're young, they're ambitious, they want to be a part of it. This is something new.
Good.
I was there before, I get it. But unfortunately, you can't trust everyone. Mm-hmm. You have to be very meticulous. And I think that's what's happening on the media front, at least from what I've seen. Yeah. Again, I'm not saying like my word is final. I'm just saying that's what I've seen happen. There is logistics and there's a whole economics to the other side of this, you know, and that's part of delivering that. I mean, those are your deliverables, having the media, having this, having that, not devaluing by having whoever throw, because imagine a company B has nothing to do, they didn't put in on this at all.
Yeah.
Gets a clip from a driver that's a banger, and then this company that has nothing to do with Drift Appalachia at all and doesn't even care other than the fact that, oh, I'm going to sell this product by using this clip that's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everyone's doing that. I can just assume, and I'm not a media guy, but I can just assume that no one would think that's cool. Yeah. And I've seen that happen. You know, I've seen it happen. Mm-hmm. Like, it happens.
Oh, I mean, even with my stuff, like I try and obviously I run a media company as well. So I have footage, like beyond belief. I have plenty of footage to use for my own B-roll, but I choose not to.
Right.
Because I want to showcase other photographers or other videographers. And I make sure to tag them if sometimes it's from, you know, whoever I'm discussing with or having a podcast with. It's from their channel, but it's somebody else's footage, but even they didn't tag them. So I don't know. And then someone reaches out getting upset.
Yeah. And that
stuff's always going to happen.
That's always going to be a thing. And right now we have 992 that's taking care of all the media. And we're talking 992s. We've been around for a while. They cover Formula Drift. They were there in the beginning of stage one, like one was saying earlier. Yeah. No one showed up for stage one. None of you guys showed up. I asked, yo, you guys want to come to stage one? We're going to do Toga? No, bro, I'm going to go do this. I ain't going to say what event it was, but
didn't ask me.
And then no one showed up. After the event, why didn't you hit me up? Mm-hmm. So I
FOMO kicked in like that.
Yeah, FOMO. I get it. I think it's because they're like, wow, they pulled it off. Because even I thought, we're getting kicked out.
Yeah, you're going to hate something until you see it.
Yeah, there's no way these people are going to let us do this. Yeah. And then it happened. And I was like, so yeah, that's how it kind of goes with the media things. I think 992 is doing a good job. They definitely have so much experience. You have Russo that's heading that project. Here dealing with everyone. You also have Sean that's doing the media stuff for Drift Appalachia. You have all the other guys that that come with Russo for 992 that are also very well versed in drifting as well, so they know what shots to take. I think that's so key. Like having someone that knows
they're good too.
That knows what shot to take.
Yeah.
You ever see someone post a video like this is sick, right? You're like, why did you post that? Like, there's no way that driver was like, yeah, post that.
I've looked back on the ones I've posted, bro. Yeah, absolutely. And still, I'll still do them today sometimes. I'll think something's all right, and then I'll look back at it in like a week. I'm like, that was kind of fucking retarded. Yeah. I have videos that I've completely made, watched it a million times after, and I'm like, nope, fuck that.
It happens, you know. Yeah. So on that front, that's really how the media stuff works. I get it. People have the FOMO and everything, but it takes a lot to do this. And because it takes a lot, we have to make sure, you know, we dot our I's and we cross our T's. And I think that's why they are so meticulous when it comes to that.
Yeah. Even Sean was telling me, even the insurance plays a part into why they are limited as well, too.
Absolutely. I mean, like...
Actually, if you guys want to hear more about that, put that in the comments so I can have him on as well.
Yeah. Sean's the G. I mean, think about it. They're like, oh, you should just do like what they do for for rally racing?
No.
I get the simple thought. I
Yeah.
get that, right? But all right, let's bring it back a little bit. Do you think, let's use WRC, right? Because they're the ones that are doing it. That's what we all know. Do you think we make the same type of money as WRC? To be able
no.
to be able to bankroll an insurance policy like that? At least, again, I'm not saying that's the final word, but in my mind, after being here involved with this, I'm like, there's no way we have the same type of insurance or the coverage or whatever as those dudes. So I understand the simple thought of, yo, you should just do it like rally racing, but this isn't rally racing. There isn't.
Way more complex.
It is 2024. Drifting has been around for like 2 decades or more, but there's still a stigma attached to it. And I think we're just doing our best to navigate. I mean, think about it. Do you think these people have heard about drifting over here?
No.
You know what I mean? So,
Dude, I went to the Walmart. Some interesting characters. There's no way they know anything about
yo,
cars out here.
Sidebar. Right? I come to Kentucky. I'm 39 years old. This old man comes up to me at Tractor Supply and he's like, "Oh, what's in the trailer?" And I'm like, "It's a drift car." He's like, "Oh, with all due respect, you're too old to be a drifter." And I'm like, "Oh my god." Dude, old man Jenkins is taking fucking shots at me, dude. And I'm just like, I just shrugged. I was like, like, what am I going to say to this dude, bro? Like, I'm like, this dude just called me an old fucking, like, what the fuck?
Oh, God, that's amazing.
And then, like, I'm just like, yeah, man, you know, I just been doing it for a long time. Like, I didn't even know what to say at that point, you know what I mean? Like,
I would have froze. That's hilarious.
Back home, I was like, yo, kick rocks, but I'm not back home. I'm not in Philadelphia. I'm here in Kentucky. He's probably just being
You're dealing with mountain people up here.
Yeah, and like, there's no service up here. That's all I need to know.
True.
Ain't no service up here, so I ain't trying.
I'm just trying to let you know I thought I was here. I could barely do that. Oh my God.
But yeah, sorry, a sidebar. Like, that dude called me
sorry
out.
about
He's
that.
like, yo, you're too old for drifting. I'm like, all right, dude.
Fuck you too, bro.
Yeah, man.
Ugh. Don't make me get it out of the trailer.
It's a process.
Oh my God. All right. Well, besides all the media stuff, explain a little bit more in depth on the vetting process for drivers.
So, let me just start off by saying I understand there was a time where we did the applications. You remember that?
Yeah.
Right? The applications were put. I'm going to be very transparent.
You got probably 1 million of them.
Right? Like 110.
Still a lot.
Right? Maybe 4 were considered. Right? Not because of their driving. I am sure that there was. Let me be clear on that. Hold on. I am sure that there is people there that are probably really good drifters. The problem is when you go and try to pull. First of all, if you're sending something to us and you're trying to get on,
Yeah.
don't make us do work to go find your footage.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to go to your Instagram and then your Facebook to try to find 1 or 2 clips of you. Like, nah, bro. Like,
That's why I asked you how many.
yeah, yeah. And
I made a comment
and
on
no
there.
one, they were sending me if you're sending me parking lot videos, man, and a sea of cones, like, yo, look at me drifting. Deny, bro. I'm not even looking at it. Get the fuck out of here. Come on, get fucking serious. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I'm like, get serious, dude. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, we need to see tandem footage of you at an actual track because that parking lot shit isn't what we're doing out here, dude.
Preferably road course.
Yeah, preferably show us, like, you know what it is, man. Go someplace like, all right,
And I'll top that too. And instead of just dumping a bunch of footage in a Google Drive folder either, that's confusing and isn't like labeled or anything like that.
time consuming,
Download CapCut on your phone. Throw it all into one file, smash it down to 1080p if you need to, so it's a smaller file and it doesn't take a freaking hour or 2 to download. Probably wouldn't even need to download it. Throw that in a Google Drive.
You should do a whole segment just on that so people know.
Oh, I've said it
Just
a
for
million times. I could say it a million times over and people still, it'll fly right over their head.
Yeah,
But
and it's like,
condense it down into one video. And then, like, even if, say I put captions inside the video. Like, this video is in-car footage. You're in my car. If there's a footage that's in the car behind me, you're in the chase car. I'm up front.
right.
And it's all listed in every single clip. right at the bottom of it.
That's how it has to. And like, I get it. They send this stuff over, and you're looking. You're like, bro, like, next thing you know, you're 15 minutes on this driver.
Yeah. How easy can you make it for them?
So like, so now I'm gonna spend 15 drive. Like, I'm not saying literally. You know what I'm saying. You're spending too much. So take the time. Don't just be lazy. Be like, yo, I'm trying to go to Drift Appalachia. Check out my shit. That ain't gonna happen, dude. And here's another thing. If all you do is drive, that's it. You're just a normal drifter.
That's totally cool.
That's cool, but what makes you think you're coming up on this mountain? I know 1,000,001 people that know how to get on a skateboard and push all day long. That doesn't mean that I'm taking them down to FDR Park so they can go skate at FDR Park.
You're not doing burials and shit.
You're not doing
Get it up.
You know, so if all you do is just doing basic drifting and like, all right, yo, I'm happy for you. I'm about that. I have a drift school. That's what I push.
Yeah.
This isn't that. Like, if you fuck up over here, you can get fucked up.
Yeah.
Your car is going to get messed up. You can get messed up. Like, we have gotten lucky because there's some experience on our side.
Closest to death drifting's ever been.
Yeah. And we don't want it. I mean, I'm not saying it sounds badass to say, but at the same time, it's like, I don't want none of my friends to get hurt. I've been shown roads where I'm like, I'm not putting my boys on that. Like, I'm not about that. You know,
because in the end, like, y'all have to live with that. If something does happen,
I was just
not only do you have to deal with the legal side of God knows that's time consuming and a money
like
pit.
We chose him to do that. And it's like, so we're partly
You're never going to be able to sleep right.
Yeah.
Like, come on. You've got to be able to think more than just, I want to drive more. It's not a normal event.
It isn't a normal. So it's like, you need to send over, and it can't be single runs, solo runs, none of that. And he's like, we all know what it is. Yeah. And then one dude's like, well, I drift all the time. I'm like, when you drive, let me use Julian Jacobs as you know Julian Jacobs, right?
Yeah.
Right. When Julian Jacobs goes out and drives, or Chelsea goes out and drives, people stop and go watch them drive.
Absolutely.
Right? You would say that is a key indicator that that's a good driver. Because we know why we're going. Yes, there's some people that go watch it, but they don't watch them for the driving. Certain dudes we watch because I want to see what this dude does.
Yeah.
You need to be like him. If you're not this dude, then
yeah.
You know, but I am only one vote. So I'm sure there's someone watching this now saying, well, I saw this person on the mountain. How did he get on there? Again, I'm not the one that says I'm one vote.
Yeah.
And there's a panel that chooses that. Because I am a scout. I think
that's a good process.
Yeah. Because I have a lot of people that I suggested that couldn't make it. Yeah. And I'm explaining why they won't in a second. But what happens is I go out there, and there's scouts out there, you know. I'm not going to say who they are, but a lot of people know that I scout it. I go and I look. Just because I suggest, yo, this dude's a ripper, we should take a look, doesn't mean you're going to get picked. Because if the panel doesn't agree and you don't fit the criteria, doesn't matter how much I'm going to vouch for you. It doesn't how much you come up to me and I shake my head like, yeah, dude, I believe you. If I am only 1% of that panel.
Yeah.
And I think that's the fairest way to do it. It has to be. Because if it was up to just 3 people or just one person, yay or nay, and I have why didn't this person show up? Why didn't this person show up? I'm like, well, I mean, not that it's any of your business, but we already reached out to X, Y, and Z person.
Yep.
He can't come because of family, or he can't do it because it costs a lot of money to come do this.
Yeah, he's on the other side of the country.
Yeah, it's the other side of the country. Or his car doesn't pass tech or anything. Like, it's very easy for you guys behind the screen on the internet to say, you should just do that when you're not paying that type of money.
Yeah.
Like, these dudes are spending some serious bread to come do this just so they can do this because they think it's worth it. It would be a lie if I'm going to sit here and say that the majority of drifters have that same type of... Maybe they'll get to that point where they get that money and they try to push it, but like, this costs a lot of money. You need to respect that. You need to respect that. There's hard-earned money being spent here that isn't like pro drivers. Because, bro, there's pro drivers that hit me up. I'm like, nah. Nah. Like,
I seen you driving FD, bro.
Like, no, absolutely not. We watch wherever they go drive, and then we tell them, don't bring your pro car, like, if at all possible. Because we get it's sometimes hard. But don't bring... I say that and I bring out that thing this week.
Yeah, right.
But, you know, it's... And the aesthetics. The companies that we're dealing with, again, I can only assume, because I'm seeing it, they want this to look good. And
it needs
to look good. Style is a thing.
Yeah.
That's
companies are not. It needs to.
Yeah.
It's just that type of.
No one's
event.
gonna look at your piece of shit car drifting by and be like, "That was a sick run."
Yeah.
They need to see that car look good first before they go to that precursor. You may not like it, but like, oh, how come I'm not getting looked at or this? I'm like, because your car looks like a piece of shit. Yeah. No one cares. Oh, it's not about the, but it is. You know why? Because this same conversation has been had since the beginning of drifting.
Yeah.
And it's going to keep on happening after. So take the time, make your car look good, put the bumpers on it, put it all together.
It's the most visibly appealing motorsport ever.
And if like, yo, I'm just out here to have fun. All right, fine. But don't get mad when you don't get selected. Because, oh, I'm just out here, go have fun. Oh, but I want to come do Appalachia. Okay, well, then you have to fit the part. I think that's stupid. Well, you can go feel and think it's stupid over there.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you want me to tell you?
Sorry, bro. I don't know.
You know, if you're going to get invited to the wedding, dress up for the wedding.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Drifting needs that attitude more.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I know
that's quite literally why I've wanted to branch out more and go to other tracks farther away. I've traveled more this year than I ever have in my entire life. It's insane. But
I will say, depending where you are in the country, depending what the money situation is, cost of living wise and everything, can be a reason why.
Absolutely.
I get that. But there's some guys where I'm just like, come on, man.
Where I am, it's all right.
Right.
So like every event host around me just caters to everyone. Like they won't put their foot down for
But you know why? Because that's how they lose money.
Yeah.
If an event organizer,
I've argued with.
If an event organizer decides to be strict like we are, or Edgar is, or we are back at Club Loose, you know what the drivers do? Because they're all fucking prima donnas. They're like, I'm not going to go there because they treat me like shit. No, you're not going there because they're holding you accountable and they're asking you to actually drive good. You lack the skill and you're not getting the respect you think you deserve. So you're going to go somewhere else that's not as experienced, where those organizers are going to suck your fucking dick and make you feel like a rock star. So you're going over there to make yourself feel good. Fine. But guess what happens? You eventually come over to where we are.
Yep.
You eventually want to come and drive with us. Because eventually you get good. Takes you forever. Would have been a lot less if you would have done it our way, but takes you forever. And now you want to come to the party with us.
This is gold, bro.
That's what it is. I know what it is. I see it all the time. Oh, I'm not going to go to Club Loose. I'm not going to go there. Blah, blah, blah. They talk all this shit. Or, oh, I'm not going to go to this event. Or I'm not going to that. And these are places that I know they hold people accountable. So then they go to some trash event where they just let them do whatever. And they feel like a rock star. And then eventually they're like, oh, this is kind of corny being here. I'm going to go somewhere else. Tell me it doesn't happen.
Yeah, start making reels of them handing a beer off. Yeah. And then taking off. Like, dude, that's not cool.
Nah.
Like, leave the trashy shit.
You may like it. If you're about that stuff, I'm all about it. If you're out there having fun, you're not hurting anybody.
True, yeah.
Yo, live it up. But don't be mad when the culture goes, nah. If the culture says nah, it's not one person. If the culture is like, nah, then it's no. What do you want me to go to everyone?
You can still go do it.
Yeah, do you want to go everywhere? You can still do it. But don't be mad when you go do something that you decided to do, and then the majority of people are like, nah, I'm all right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I do things because like I do it the way I want to do it. No, you're just doing it because no one else gives a damn that you're doing it. But you want to make it sound cool and make it sound like you're a rebel and doing it by yourself, like you're some sort of renegade. Like, we've all been through it. Like, I was 21 before too, dude. Like, I get it. I used to play that flute. I get that shit, bro. I understand what you're saying. But nah, like, take the time. I went through the hazing process at Club Loose. They treated me, but it was all about building your character. Yeah. But if you think you're going to come and get coddled at some of these events, some places aren't. But if these places are just like, oh, no. I understand. It's a money thing, bro. They need tons of people to show up. For what? So they can make money. So they look at it like, there's not one of these organizers ain't going to tell me like, you know what? A lot of people complain about this place. So I'm going to throw events so then the people can come to me since they're not going to want to go over there. If that's not what they're thinking, you're lying to me, dude. Yeah. You are fucking lying to me.
Oh, yeah. What baffles me is like those same people that get mad that it's a style only event is whatever they want to call it are the same people that are like all for LS Fest, all for Ford Fest, all for whatever type of segregated car company or whatever, a Corvette, whatever. It doesn't matter. Those are the same people that are all for that but hate the style stuff. So like you're cool with segregating this type of car community, but what we're a vast majority of all of it.
100%.
And you want to segregate that part? Like, it's just stupid to me.
They'll tell me like I love LS Fest.
I'm there all
I
the
love
time.
LS Fest. I love what it's about. I love the Holly thing. I love Final Bout. I love the vibes. I love the team drifting, the double drifting, the street drift, the street leagues. What I don't understand, like we as Americans are just so spoiled. We have a menu of drifting available to us in this country. No one else has that.
I was drifting every weekend if I had the money to.
Yeah, no one else has that. No one. You could. All right, I know people are gonna be like, "What about Japan?" Shut up. We're not talking about that, dude. All right, we're talking about. I've been to Europe.
Yeah.
I talked to those dudes. They don't get the same access that we do. We have
Ireland
a
alone,
menu.
they got Mondello.
Yeah,
That's it.
we have. Pick. We can go. We can leave right now, and 9 o'clock tomorrow. We're drifting.
Yeah.
You know,
My house, I have probably, I would say 10 tracks that I could go to within a 4-hour distance.
what are we complaining? So people are just looking for things to complain about. They get
right.
jaded
Absolutely.
because we have this, and then they want more. Or they want to segregate it. Like I love Final Bout. I've never been to Final Bout a day in my life. I love watching. You know why? Because I'm 39 years old. I came up in the 2000s, and those were the cars I was watching.
Yeah.
All right, but I have a VA car out there, and I also have a VQ car as a street car. Yeah. But I appreciate it. I appreciate the fact that we have subcultures of drifting. And again, maybe I appreciate it more because I come from a time where there was one drifting event for every 2 months.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all it was. I come from a time where I would go to a drifting event back in 2003 and only 6 people would show up.
Yep.
That's all the people were. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that you kids are spoiled.
Beyond,
You guys have it all. I know you're spoiled.
I say it all the time.
The kids come from the sim world. They come to my school. They learn how to drift. They go get a car. They're getting this. They're getting that. I never got to do any of that.
That's a whole nother rant.
And I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm jealous. Live your dream. You know why? Because I've seen circle track people and endurance guys and all those kids and families build up cars and go to the track every weekend.
Yeah.
Now those same families are now doing it with drifting. You want an example of that?
Hiroya.
Yeah, or Sully.
Shinjuku, yeah. Oh, Sully, yeah. Absolutely.
You know, and like some other dude with a yellow Miata down in Atlanta or something. Him and his brother. One has an RX-8.
Oh, Jake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and then you have the dude from Canada, Jay the Drifter.
Jay the Drifter. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I forgot
that
about him.
and since I get to go
Even
to a
the
lot
Sorensens,
of,
they're young as hell.
Yeah, exactly. They were like that was like the beginning of that.
Dude, FD needs them.
Oh yeah,
A lot.
but the wave of those people are coming. You know, like you have families that are just like, well, this is what my son wants to do or my daughter wants to do, and people aren't going to like it because they're going to be like, oh, well, that's not really drifting.
Daddy's money.
Yeah, that's just what it is.
Whatever.
I would love
If you were in that position,
100%.
Yeah. Fucking same thing.
You'd be doing the same thing.
Anyone that says different, you're a liar.
Or you got
Just a liar.
You got the young kid here, Cash.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Cash, who's here, who's ripping, 18 years
If
old.
you haven't seen his episode, go watch it.
Yeah,
too.
Cash is awesome, and he's on the mountain shredding. He's just a genuine.
I was
kid
just
who's
telling Edgar the other day, we were talking about the DISL stuff and how I'm not a comp guy, so I don't really care to do anything like that. But he was like, yeah, half my teenagers would whip your ass anyways. I was like, dude, Cash would mop me off the track so fucking quick. He is an animal on track.
I look at it this way, right? Like, I think we're doing I think right now, drifting is doing great. But I think in the future, this generation like Cash's generation, as long as they stick to the path, by the time they reach our age, we won't even...
Unstoppable.
They would be...
We couldn't even touch them.
Because we started here, right? And we gotten up to here. Now we're starting.
I was in like the middle ground.
We're starting them here. So they're gonna, you know. I've had kids come up to me like, "Oh, do you think I could take you in tandem?" I'm like, 100%. If we were to tandem battle, you would totally beat me maybe twice.
Yeah.
Out of 10, those other 8, I would murder you. And then they say why? I'm like, because we have something called intuition. We have the experience. That's where the OGs had. Like, if you ever see someone out there who's a little bit older, what they have in their bag is that they've done it so many times that they can make those decisions like that. Whereas the newer kids, they hesitate a quick second.
The second nature's developed.
Yeah. We take advantage of that, you know. But then we try to teach the new generation, like, hey, don't do the same mistakes we did. This is how to run this line. This is how to dive into this pocket. This is how to do that.
Oh yeah.
Because these kids, they don't care. They have no, and they're insured until 26, so they're just diving in like maniacs.
Yeah.
You know? So it's cool to see all of that develop and be encompassed in something that we get to see on the mountain as now another subculture of drifting. Because we've had it all. We've had.
Everything
you
gets
name
better with age.
Yeah, it just gets better. And the fact that we're doing it now on the mountain, which is something I've wanted to do that since the first time I got into drifting, which was watching Initial D.
Truthfully, I think that's almost anyone that is. Yeah. Maybe we're getting to the point where it's not so much anymore, just with how young people are getting into it. But that's a goal, a bucket list item for almost anyone in drifting, I would say. Because
at that point, it's like you feel like you've accomplished something that is pretty substantial, at least in our culture right now. Yeah. I think it's still we're under 70 drivers that have ever been allowed on the mountain so far.
Oh, shit. But that's why I said badge of honor. Like, that's...
Yeah, I think it's
especially
good,
being one of the first, especially one of the first 100, just alone. Yeah. Like, that's insane. Imagine, especially if you're Cash, for example, when 30 years, imagine telling that story. Especially if this thing gets so big that it's like...
Imagine Cash, let's say he has kids, and later on in life, he's like, yeah, when I was 18 years old, these crazy drifter dudes took me under their wing and brought me to a mountain.
Yeah, they said, go drive down that mountain, see what happens.
And Cash's dad is all about it. Cash's like,
oh yeah.
You know, like, so it's cool to see that. Like, we can look at the internet and see all the drama in the world, but like, when you look at those dudes and how they're going about it, you're like, drifting's fine. Like, we're in good hands, you know? Like,
we're going places, baby.
Yeah, we're going places, you know? Like, I'm excited. That's, you know, especially when it comes to this mountain stuff. It's the coolest thing since sliced bread, that's for sure.
Hell yeah. All right, well, to get off a lot of the more deeper stuff, just back on the vetting type stuff, as far as the car goes, what is needed for a car to even be allowed?
So currently right now, your car needs to have a cage, right? Okay. It can't be a Cusco cage.
FD legal cage?
It has to be, yeah.
Like what spec?
Preferably an FD legal cage. I mean, that's pretty much the standard if you're going to weld in your cage. You might as well do that anyway because there's a resale value there, whatever. So
that's true, yeah.
You put that in there, and then you have to have all your safety equipment because why not? You know, Heinz device, arm restraints, and it has to look good. You know, it has to look good. You know, it's a requirement. There's a couple dudes here today where I'm like,
you're walking a line, bro.
You need to fit that wheel to that fender ratio. It needs to be a little bit better, sir. But I looked at the rear of mine and I was like, I'm guilty of that too right now. So
I have no room to talk yet.
But that's really what you need. You need to have something that looks good, drives good, isn't leaking, it's reliable, safety is above priority. And I know right now you may think, maybe it's not that serious, but I promise you the first day, if any of you guys get the luxury of being able to go down the mountain, it quickly becomes apparent, like, I am happy I have this safety equipment on because this is fucking crazy. You know? So that's really when it comes down to the safety. It's just, and that's why a lot of people that you would think we would invite can't come because their car doesn't pass tech. Either they have a Cusco cage or they have this or they have that. Yes, in the earlier stages, there was a variance of rules. Yeah. The first one, there was no cages. The second one, we increased it, and now we've gotten to the point where we need all of that safety equipment because really at the end of the day, we want everyone to be able to go home safe, be able to have fun, talk about it, post up videos. The last thing we want to do is have to go to a hospital. Yeah, let's be real. Yeah. That's the last thing we want. So safety above everything, because by keeping safety a priority, it allows us to continue doing this. And that's really the goal. We're not gonna put at risk the ability of being able to do this for the sake of safety. And I think that's standard.
Absolutely. Yeah. What do you think about some of the other events that are kind of happening, that are kind of following in the footsteps and doing the same mountain road stuff? It doesn't seem as professional as the way it's happening here, and like I'm not trying to get you to talk bad about any.
I mean,
other event or
imitation is
anything,
the best
too.
compliment in the world. You know,
Absolutely.
I think that's a thing. You know, imitation's a really great compliment. I was a little disappointed with one of them, to say the least. I didn't really.
Why and what would you say
was the
your
safety.
advice would be?
It was the safety. Like,
Okay.
we saw a car out there that didn't have what it needed, didn't have doors, didn't have all this stuff, and I'm just sitting here like, you know, man, I didn't say anything because they went and did their thing. But there is nothing any of them could ever. At least I'm not speaking for Drift Appalachia. I'm just saying, speaking to me, I'm having this comment from my point of view. There is nothing that guy or whoever was involved in that could ever say to me to rectify the fact that I saw that car with no doors, with no cage, on the mountain, drifting with a passenger. There is nothing. You can't say, you can't give me anything that's going to be an excuse for that. You can't. The only thing you can do is keep doing your thing and not ever let that happen again.
Yeah.
But the fact that it even happened, for me, pisses me like you have no, it pisses me off more than you have any idea. Because why? What if that dude would have went off track and impaled him? You would have been in trouble, and then the entire culture would have been in trouble. For what? Because you wanted to imitate us?
That's a very good point.
Like, what the fuck? You want to go do your own thing?
Dangerous.
Do your own thing.
I mean, I've seen plenty.
If you're
going to
copy us, copy the safety.
But like, not there. That's not.
You want to copy what we're doing? Cool. Copy the safety book.
Yeah.
Do it right. Don't do it half-assed. So the driving's half-assed and the safety's half-assed?
Yeah. And it's not like y'all have ever even said like you can't copy it.
No,
like,
we can't, because this is America. You can do whatever you want.
Right.
You could do whatever, and that's a different area anyway. But that was the only thing. Maybe the next one they do is going to be better. They're going to learn from their lesson. You know, I mean, I definitely bitched that dude out. I sent him a message. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, what the hell? I mean, that's the facts.
Yeah.
Like, what if something bad would have happened? We couldn't do our shit no more. Then what? No one thinks about that.
Yeah. Only takes one bad apple.
You know what I mean? And there was another one that went, all right, cool, follow the rules. Seems like they're following the rules.
Yeah.
All right. We haven't had anything bad to say about them. They're doing their thing. They're whatever. It's a free country. I get that. And if I'm going to sit here and say imitation is the best compliment, then imitate the stuff you should be imitating.
Absolutely.
You know, keep it safe. Keep it so we can keep on doing this. Don't be that group or that organization that
just wants to make it happen.
Wants to make it happen. Because I feel like people are now just doing it because they're like, oh, we're going to get the views. That wasn't about that.
Yeah.
We had no idea that was.
They're just trying to jump on the next wave.
They're trying to jump on the next wave.
It's all trends.
And honestly, like if you're going to have that attitude and you're just not going to put safety first, we're going to kick you off that wave.
Yeah.
Because I know you know, but there are certain people in the community that have enough influence that aren't influencers, that are just really in this game, that if they say nah, it's nah.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying those people flex that a lot, but in that situation, we were pissed. We were very pissed off. At least I was. I don't want to say we. I don't want to speak for anybody else. But me personally, I was pissed because I kept my mouth shut the entire time. I didn't say anything. And then I see those videos and I was like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Like, even if you did it, like, don't post that video.
Don't post it up.
That's like,
why?
That's
why
where
would
you
do
really
that?
jumped over the line.
And there was other things too.
Bad for everyone.
There was other things too that, well, you know, whatever. But that's the one that stuck out. And I don't think I'm wrong by saying this one. I think all of us that have seen that clip, we all thought the same thing. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why? That could have went so south, so bad. And it's just because. Have a pair of balls and be like, no, get the fuck out of here, go home.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Like,
That's
have a pair of balls.
More of that.
None of that kumbaya, oh, come, we're going to have fun. Suck my dick, bro. Like, This is the real deal. You're on a mountain. These dudes go off the mountain. They break shit. They fall. A piece of a wood or like a branch goes through their head. Then what? You're going to sit here and give me this peace-loving bullshit? Like, no, bro. Absolutely not. We put in so much time and effort to have some fucking store brand shit like that. Fuck out of here, dude. Yeah. I'm not dealing with that shit, dude. So.
Especially after the storms we've had recently, a tree is probably out there somewhere ready to fall. Dude, in my childhood, I've just driving down a back road, I've had a tree fall and shatter the side windshield.
Right.
Like just a branch of a tree that broke
That's some
off.
Kentucky shit, bro.
It was in Tennessee.
Oh, that's some Tennessee shit, bro.
It was definitely Tennessee shit.
That ain't happening by
Well,
me.
like scared the shit out of all of us. It's like 11 o'clock at night, but like that stuff can just happen too.
Yeah.
Like there's so many variables that people just don't even
And maybe
fathom.
It's just
insane
us.
to me.
Maybe it's us just being overcautious or that. But like when it comes to
Better than us than you.
exactly when it comes to keeping the safety of these drivers, making sure these guys can continue coming back, that is the top priority. You don't want to be that organization or that group where you lost a guy. You'll be the first person to ever do it in drifting, period.
Yeah.
So why even try to open that door, you know? But there's a silver lining. Like I said, I'm sure there's no way those guys are probably sitting there like, yeah, we're just going to keep on doing this.
Yeah.
I can only imagine that they're like, you know what? They were right. We need to be a little bit more strict with this stuff. They may not admit it like that, but I doubt that the next one that I see, or that if they do another one, that the rules are going to be that lax. Right. I'm pretty sure somebody probably sat down and be like, listen, they probably weren't nice about it, but they were probably right about it. So let's fix this, continue doing your events, make sure nobody dies.
Yeah.
Because like we can't control what you do. You want to do what you want to do, you know, whatever. We'll do it better. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. You know, like you can try.
Yeah.
You ain't us, but you can try. You know, fine. But if you're going to try, don't cut corners. You cut corners there, and that's why we were pissed. Or at least I was. I don't know what the other guy said to him, but I was pissed. Because I'm like, come on, you're going to throw everything away for a shitty-looking Corvette? Like, come on.
5 minutes.
Yeah, enough.
Yeah.
Dude didn't even drive that good anyway, dude. He was trash. So, like, whatever. It was. He was trash. It was absolute trash. The car looked like trash. The driving looked like trash. It was horrible. Like, why even do that? I'm sure they're going to clean it up. I'm sure maybe I'll eat my words watching another video where they're killing it. But till right now, you fucked up.
Yeah.
Take that pill, swallow it, improve, move on.
Absolutely. I get it. Well, I do want to ask about the like wrecks and stuff that when they do happen here, is there a rule on posting them? Because I know some of them have been posted, but obviously rumors. It's just you hear them all the time.
I mean, the drivers post stuff up.
Is it because of the packages? Like, since if a driver has to buy a media package to get media from the event, so I assume it's just the people that didn't buy the package to post it, right?
Yeah. So there's some people that just don't get anything.
Yeah.
They just show up because I'm not saying they just said, "Oh, I'm not going to get footage." Maybe they just didn't have it. You know, because it's a little expensive. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're getting a lot.
High quality footage.
You're getting the whole shebang. You may get a collaboration out of it. Like, there's a lot of things that go in there, but maybe you just don't have the money. No harm, bro. You're just here to drive. That's what's up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of how I see that. I don't.
I'm just clarifying that there is no rule that drivers can't post wrecks.
No.
Cool.
No, you saw the last one. People were going out there.
Yeah, dude. I was like, there's no way. They post it all the time.
I think that's at least how I look at it. I think that we do that, or we tell people to do that, to have some transparency. Mm-hmm. We're not perfect. Right. But we're definitely trying our best to do this in the best way possible with some of the best skilled people we have to do this. Not just skilled, but has the right mindset in order to do it. Because you got to be a little crazy to do what we're doing. Right. So I think that's more so what it is. There's no rule, or as far as I know, unless they're going to pull me aside like, Reese, there's a rule. But I'm pretty sure there isn't a rule. I think everybody likes to be transparent and say, I mean, the last wreck that I saw, the big one that everybody talked about was Cash. But Cash did the right thing. He went stage right to avoid a bigger accident. Yeah. So he sacrificed himself in a blink of an eye. And I give him props for that. Yes, his car went off. Yes, it got damaged. But it wasn't quite as bad as it wasn't as bad. Expected. But it could have been bad if he would have T-boned that dude. Yeah. And that was
because Jason had already gone off.
Yeah, that was Jason. Someone
tapped him.
Exactly. I think it was Brandon or someone.
I don't remember who the second car was.
But imagine that Mustang, dude, would have came in and just
sandwiching. Cash was coming in hot.
Yeah, and he kills it on the mountain. So his quick reflexes. He sacrificed his car to make the situation go from what could have been really bad to just that's unfortunate. Yeah. So props to him on that. But yeah, I don't think anything gets taken away or something. But I mean, I imagine if it gets really crazy, then maybe then. But I mean, like for the most part, we try to be transparent so people can see like this is the real deal. Right. This is how it is. You know?
Cool. Okay, and then from like a spectator, or not a spectator, but like a viewer standpoint online, people seeing the guys that actually do make content, like long form content, where they actually get to see them drive down the mountain and like see them do a full lap. Everyone complains about the handbrake. I understand it. I'd be scared shitless. I'd be using the handbrake at every corner.
Yeah, why don't you come up there and let me see you not touch the handbrake?
Thank you. Okay.
Let me see you come up here. You think you're bowdy about it? All right, let me see you come up here and not try to touch that handbrake. Trust me, at stage 2, there is one video where I do in-car, and I tried my hardest to not flash the handbrake.
Yeah.
I think everyone's goal is to try to modulate so perfect that if I would have been able to make a video of in-car where I didn't touch the handbrake, I would have posted it up like that. Yeah. Because to real drifters, I don't care about the little fanboys who are like, oh, you didn't touch the handbrake. You don't even know why I didn't do it. But to the real drifters, they understand the line, the extension, everything we do in order to do that.
Yeah.
No one did it. Even Turk was like, man, on this one turn, I didn't hit the right line. I gotta go back and do it again. Those are the real drifter conversations. They'll sit there and be like, yo, turn 3, 4, 5, nailed it. But I screwed it all up because turn 6, I
remember you talking about that on the Outer Zone podcast about Chelsea. He was talking when you were spotting for him and how he won, but like it wasn't in the way that he wanted to win.
Oh, yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same philosophy.
Yeah.
You know, Chelsea wanted to win a certain way, he would win, and then he's like, oh, I didn't win the way I wanted to.
Yeah, I want to drive harder.
I want to drive harder. I'm like, well, we could have lost if we did that, but he likes to push the envelope, you know. But the same thing, a lot of us want to get the perfect run, but you may think you know, but until you go down there and you're trying to, try to do this line and you feel the grip and you feel that, yeah. I mean, I had a lot of people like, oh, Reese, when I see your other videos, you're not on the handbrake, but when you're on the mountain, I'm like, motherfucker, come on the mountain and see what it's like. All right. Let me see if you think like not flashing the handbrake. You know what we're scared. That's the most honest answer.
Yeah.
We're scared. I pulled the handbrake today 30 feet too early one time. I'm like, yeah, I'm just scared. Like
every driver I talked to tonight said they were scared.
Yeah. And like, what's the shame in that? Yeah, yo, if I'm at a parking lot or if I'm at some skid pad, yeah, I'm probably not going to use the handbrake because I'm like, there's no consequences. But like, when you're like this close to a cliff or you're this close to a guardrail or a tree or this or that, like that starts to play with you a little bit in the back of your mind. So the quick answer is we're all scared. We pull the handbrake because we're on a mountain. Bro, we're in 3rd and 4th gear here. So what are we talking about? You think you're good? I get it, dude.
Dude, at Kill Care, what gear are you in?
I would be if I was in the VQ car, I would be in second with
second.
Yeah, in second with like a 408 differential.
Are you like pegged at limiter though the entire time for the most part?
I mean, I'd like to be high up there because it gives me a bigger scale to float with throttle and
dude,
stuff.
My second gear is long or something.
Right. What do you have? Like a 352 or?
I don't remember what the ratio is. It's the auto open diff from the Z's. I don't remember what the ratio is, but second gear is long as shit with the RB25 and the RB trans as well. So third gear in my car is absurdly fast. Yeah. Like now grid life type layout.
Yeah,
like
it works.
Big road courses, I'm in third gear.
And some of the guys have different gear settings. Like mine's pretty short, so yeah, that's why I'm in 4th. Yeah. But in a normal setting, I'd be in 3rd. But we're humming. So like, yeah, like it. Like I'm all about the handbrake because let me clarify before you guys murder me. What I say about it's there for a reason. I get it, you're trying to all drift the line, the perfect line, and not touch the handbrake. But if you mess up or you miscalculate a transition, you need to correct it so you can get back online. And that's what the handbrake allows you to do. And that's what we're doing on the mountain. We're scared. We're trying to gauge ourselves. Sometimes we overcook it and we're like, oh, and so the answer is, yeah, we're scared. I mean, at least I am. I'm out there doing it. And I'm like, oh, and then you get comfortable.
Dude,
and then you release it more and more and more. And then you get too comfortable. You go off the track. I mean, I went off stage 3 hard. I overcooked it hard and I just flew
Didn't
off.
you post a video on that?
I did.
Yeah, I saw it then. Yeah.
Slow motion.
Yeah.
It was just on my story though, because I didn't have the heart to put it on my actual. You know how that works.
Oh yeah, I know.
I was like,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm not giving the internet that.
Yeah, this one can't stay forever.
Maybe I'll put it up now.
I'll flash it.
I'll put it up now.
Give
Let
me
them
a
know if you want me to put it. I'll put it
That's
up.
it.
You guys can make fun of it. Yeah, I mean, it was a hard hit.
Drop it in the comment. We'll make it a reel or something.
Yeah,
and then you can-
I'll give it to you. Whatever.
Sick.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. You can be like, as long as I can give that out. Let me talk to my media guy first.
True,
and make sure
true, yeah.
About to get kicked off the mountain, dude. Like,
You're not allowed to recruit anymore. Okay, well, so how, especially with how much you've explained how crazy this is, how does the logistics even work behind? How do you even get the clearance to do this stuff with the town? Like, what conversation needs to be had with permits?
There's an organization called Backroads of Appalachia.
Okay.
And then you have, like I said, Brian and Edgar that are doing all this. So between them, they're the ones that do all the meetings, figure out where they're going to have the little get together that we did, so there can be like an influence, a help, because there's nothing around here. There's no team, no sports team. There's no nothing. So having these type of events where the community can come in to like the downtown, and it brings a lot of help to the businesses. I mean, you saw the one restaurant place was packed.
Yeah,
and so
they had a line out the door. There were people saying no just because they didn't want to wait.
And it's just one of those things where we do what we need to do with the community so we can do this stuff. Because doing this stuff, and the guys from that did the drivers meeting today, talking about Backroads of Appalachia and all those guys that are involved, they explained it very well. They were like, we have to do the community stuff because that's what allows us to do the drifting stuff. That's what pays the bills. So that's really what it's about, is making sure that we can have that type of relationship with these councilmen or, with the government officials to make it happen. And I can only imagine when it comes to a state park, it's a whole other slew of, of things as well too. So the short answer for that is just the guy, the higher ups in the background are doing what they need to do, hiring lawyers, doing all that. That all costs money. Like that isn't like, can you do me a favor? Nah, that costs bread, bro. Like that's not, I need you to talk to this guy. Oh, get your lawyer. What do you think? You think that's free?
Yep.
You think the lawyer just goes, oh yeah, sure. No, it costs money. So like all of that stuff, that's what goes into all of that. Obviously, I'm assuming depending what location we go to, I'm sure there's maybe a different type of structure in order to make that happen. But for the most part, I think it's all around the general same area.
How many hours or days do you think it takes to fully prep all the back end stuff that we're talking about?
Edgar and Brian, I think, work tirelessly the entire time because they're so busy doing other things.
That's fair.
So like Brian is so busy. Edgar is so busy because they have their finger mixed up in other things. Yeah. So that's what it really comes down to is just those guys are just busy and it takes up so much of their time. Remember, they got to fly out to these areas, scout. So it's not like this afternoon we're going to go to Kentucky real quick to go. Nah. You got to take time. Now you have a couple of days where you're not working. You're doing something for yourself. So think about how much money is being lost or spent or not, doing all of that back end work. So it's a tireless effort from Edgar and Brian and all the people involved in Drift Appalachia, whether it's me doing some scouting or anybody, or Derek or anybody else, Sean, anybody else is involved. It's just a consistent, just on and on group chat going on and on and on. Let's do this. What about this person? What about that? So it doesn't stop. I bet you now there'll be a week where we don't talk because we just did it. And then boom, it starts up again. What location? What's this? What's that? How do we go? What are we going to do new? What are we going to do new? Yeah. I won't let you know. Oh. So all of that stuff. So we got to, so it's endless. We're always talking. It's just like when we're at FD, me and Brian will just talk about drifting and judging. As soon as we come here, like, so why don't we try this? Or why don't we, maybe we can do this. Maybe we could do that. It doesn't end. Yeah. Drifting is just literally my life, dude.
What we asked for, I guess.
Yeah, it is what I asked for. So it's constant. It's just constant work on and on. So if you're asking what is involved, a lot of time, a lot of personal sacrifice, because I know for a fact Brian's at home late at night doing things. Edgar's, I see the emails, you see it coming in. It's a group effort to really try to make this happen. It's not a one-man show. I don't even think it's a money thing. It's having patience, understanding how to talk to people, understanding how to persuade people, and being an honest person and delivering on your promises when you make something happen such as this.
Absolutely. Man. Well, do you think there is anything that needs to be clarified else on Drift Appalachia?
I don't know, unless you think something else needs to be clarified. I mean, we're on the mountain. The selection process is hard, but it's worth it when you get in. And we're just doing our best to bring this crazy thing to a reality.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, the first time we did it, me, Russo, and everyone were just watching everyone. And I was just in awe. I'm like, I cannot believe we are doing this right now.
Yeah.
And the cops aren't stopping us.
Yeah.
And it was insane. And I don't think anything would be better than the first time I went. I'm not going to lie. I teared up a little because I'm like, sick.
This is real life,
this is
bro.
really, and stage 1 was crazy fast.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Stage 1 was probably
Go
the
watch
sketchiest.
Chelsea's video when he upshifts from 3rd to 4th going downhill. Like that, bro.
Fuck no.
You see him. He sees you go back to his video. You hear him. He's talking to his media guy. He's like, "Did you see when I shifted up?" And he goes, "Sketch." And I was like, "Yo, that's
more
crazy."
than that.
So I was there watching him do it, and I was like, crazy. So it is the most fun I've ever had. I think it is the coolest event that we have in America. I'm so happy to be a part of it. I'm so happy that we're able to involve so many people, and it's. If anything, I just hope everyone that's watching out there is aesthetically getting, your rocks off when you watch it. Because that's really what it's about. It's not a competition. It's not anything like that. It's just survival of the fittest. And the mountain wins every time. So
Damn right.
Yeah, every time.
Well, I'm glad we finally got to sit down and kind of more dive deeper into the Drift Appalachia stuff and clarify a lot of things. That's why I wanted to kind of explain a little bit more what happens behind the scenes and the logistics side of things and that whole team, because God, that's the last thing people think about.
Yeah. What I think people should know, I think the best part, the drifting is cool, but you'll see tomorrow the paddock. Everyone's hanging out. Everyone's chilling. That is the cherry on top to everything.
Oh,
because when you're just down there chilling, you'll see it tomorrow. You're sitting there and you're like, yo, look at all these drift cars just chilling here, helping each other out, talking about drifting the mountain. Like, I don't think there's a cooler thing in the world. Like, it is the best thing out there.
If you would have told me 6 or so years ago, 5, whatever it is, when I got into drifting, that this would be a thing, I would have laughed at you. Like, no town's ever going to sign off on that. You're crazy.
So back in 2013, me and Russo went to No Star Bash. Damn, that's a long time ago. We went to No Star Bash. It was in Gingerman. Yeah. It was in Gingerman Raceway. And we're all sitting there around the campfire. All those Midwestern dudes are being Midwesterners,
Yeah.
drinking, partying, lighting off fireworks. Great time. And I'm sitting there with Edgar. He's like, yo, what do you think we need to do? Me and Russo, without a doubt, we're like, yo, whatever you need to do is you need to do it on a toga. And yo, he was like, oh, yeah. But it's when you first said it back in 2013, that was the same response. You're like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
What is that ever going to happen?
Grow up, buddy. Yeah.
And then one day he hits me up and he's like, yo, Derek, talk to this dude, blah, blah, blah. And I think we need something. I'm like, what? And it worked out.
Domino.
It just domino effect into what you see now. So it could only get better. And I'm sure all of us involved are just going to do everything we can to make it that much better in the future. At least that's the goal.
Good. Awesome. Well, since we have talked about Chelsea and stuff a little bit, I know you guys have been like basically lifelong friends almost for a very long time. How has it been, especially being a spotter and just kind of being friends with him for so long, seeing his success to where it is now?
It is the coolest thing in the world because Chelsea to me is just still Chelsea.
Yeah.
It's still, the teenager that I met in the parking lot of Franklin Mills when we were getting KA parts together, and he was always ambitious and optimistic then, and
Pitbull.
Yeah, he's never. Chelsea has not changed since the day I've met him. And he's always been about drifting. And it was so cool when he called me and he was like, "Hey, I want you to come spot for me." And I thought it was a joke. And then we went and did it. But the conversation was like, "I'm trying to win this chip. Like, we're not doing this. Like, we wanted this. Like, we need to get this." And yeah, I mean, Chelsea made me look really good by being the spotter when he won the championship. But like that dude is just, he's an animal. Obviously, I know how to talk to him. And I think what it mainly wasn't like, oh, he gave me the information I needed. I did. It wasn't. But I think it's because me and Chelsea he's one of my best friends. We've been friends for such a long time. We don't have to deal with like the unfamiliar jargon. We can just get right into it like, nah, dude, I don't need you to do that. I need you to do this.
It's direct.
Yeah. And it worked out really great. And it's awesome to see him out there just living it up, win the championship. And then he went on to do the Porsche thing. And now he's, traveling around doing all this stuff. And it's like, I get asked all the time, like, why did he stop and everything? And, I don't know if it's definite, but at least from my perspective, I kind of look at it like, who said it the best? Who's the guy that does all the skateboarding? Rodney Mullen.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was watching an interview or a TED Talk or something, and he was explaining that the reason he keeps on skateboarding is because, or he stopped competing, is because when you compete, you get put into this box. And once you get put into that box, you can only play inside of that box.
Yeah.
And you can't grow any more than that box. Chelsea doesn't want to play in the box anymore. If you're asking me what my opinion is.
He accomplished the box.
Yeah, he accomplished the box. He's like, all right, I'm bored with this toy. What else can I do?
Yeah.
So then he can do gnarlier things or do this or do that. That's how I'm viewing it. As a friend of his, seeing how he is, knowing how he is, I think that's the avenue that he went.
Yeah.
Is that I want to try
something. This suits him so much better, too.
I think so.
Oh, my God. Just like, where was he at? Europe or something?
He was doing the Up in Smoke tour. I think he went to Portugal, Brazil, France, somewhere else.
Nutty. Yeah. That's insane. And the first video of him announcing it, you can see like the joy that kind of it doesn't seem as excited back then as he is just doing an intro to that video.
Well, I
his
think
whole demeanor is
yeah,
changed.
I think it's because when you're doing like, first of all, being a part of RTR and then going doing that is like,
yeah.
So like, is it stressful doing that stuff at the pro level? And yeah, because you ain't just, you got your team you got to worry about. Like they're putting effort in. There's a lot going on there. So he's excited and pumped that he's doing the comp stuff. But this is different over here. Yeah. This is just a little bit more of like what I think.
I'm sure, especially seeing his friends like Adam and stuff too.
Yeah.
Just doing the YouTube thing and making it work just as good, and like still doing the FD thing on top of it, and like that. Yeah. I
think everyone does a really good job of feeding off of one another. And helping each other in whatever they're doing in their industry. And I think Chelsea's just come to a point where he wants to just kind of expand and do other things. But, the time that we had at FD, it was great because he said at Orlando, like, it would be really cool if I can do so good that I technically don't even have to drive or window. I just kick it with you in the stands. And technically that's how it happened. Because he didn't have to drive. He won because Forsberg knocked out, what's his face. So it's funny how that worked out. It was awesome. It was great. We had a really great time. Happy we accomplished it. We all thought Chelsea was going to be the one that did it when we were younger. He was going to be the pro driver. Like we all thought that. Yeah. And he won the championship. So at least from a friend point of view, like it's the most stoked I could have ever been, to see that happen. So it felt like a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders when I wasn't even.
Yeah.
But you're there watching someone go through it. I know so many stories of his struggles and everything, and to just know it all accumulated to finally getting the championship was awesome. And I think anybody who has a friend like that, who's one of your best friends, that's able to accomplish that, you would feel the same way.
How does anyone like that or you that stays so busy, like, take the time to really sit back and appreciate those things that you have accomplished? Because I know myself, even just with the things that I do in my life, I find it very hard to just stop for a minute and like realize I was begging to have that in my life. You know what I mean?
I think it's really good for you to have people in your circle that will check you.
Yeah.
And
I agree with that.
it's a little easy for us to do that on the East Coast. So we,
Pretty didn't
and yeah, we keep it real, but I think that's really strong. You have to have a really good circle core group of friends. Like, I know we always get into that thing of like, well, what's the best advice?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, the best advice is whoever you have in your circle of friends, you need to have really, really good friends that believe in what you're doing. And you need to be a good friend too, because you need to reciprocate that.
Yeah.
But nothing that I've done in drifting has been done by myself. It's always been one of my friends helping me out. I mean, for the last 10 years, you know, my buddy, you know, and my roommates that live with me in Philadelphia, Meatball and Trevor, the guys that are with me, they're the reason I get to drive half the time, because they like take care of so much shit. And I don't think the time that your friends donate to you, no one takes that in consideration sometimes. There is hours and hours and hours of time that this person that's getting Zippo out of it donates to you because, well, that's my boy. Like, that is, like, if you can find friends like that and be able to hook them up when that time comes, you got it made. That's better than a fucking sponsorship.
Oh, 100%.
Like, you need people that are there for that. And we have that. Even Chelsea has that. You know, like, there's been situations where, yeah, we'll help you out, or, you know, or Russo or any of these dudes here. Like, that's what you need to have. If you don't have that, I don't think you're making it in this game.
Yeah.
Or you have to have a shit ton of money where you're like, whatever. But if you don't have a good group of friends around you, like that, it ain't happening. It just
Or able to make a good group of
or
friends.
able to make. You have to have a good personality, and you have to be a decent person. But that is the thing. You need a good group of people around you for sure.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about FD. Sorry to just kind of like jump straight into it. Yep.
All right.
I've got to talk about it.
All right.
But so, especially with, you know, Midwest, you've got, you're breaded with it. You have the attitude. How do you handle
East
with
Coast,
some
East
of the,
Coast.
or sorry, East Coast, sorry. How do you deal with the backlash, for one? Or do you even deal with it?
I don't, nah. I mean, like, I know a Maximum Driftcast, we go back and forth with some of the dudes. I kind of feel like people that are in that, like, they kind of understand a little bit.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, like I was telling you earlier, like, I don't really deal with a lot of the backlash. I don't have people that slide into my DMs. I don't have people cursing me out. Like, yeah, they may post something like, oh, you suck, but like, that's it. Like, it doesn't go any further than that. So I consider myself very lucky that doesn't happen to me. I think Adam did a really good job of helping us in Atlanta when he went on and said, hey, listen, don't blame the judges. Don't get on them, blah, blah, blah. This is just the way it is. Yeah. There is a good effort in order for people to understand why we do what we do as judges, or how we go the decisions that we go.
Even I was confused in that one too.
Yeah, and you know what? It was a confusing situation. And it's something that definitely has to be addressed when it comes to, like, hey, how do we prevent this not to happen? Which now having the 1 second rule nullifies.
True.
It would have been over. But we didn't have that then, you know?
Well, just to touch on that. So, like, now that especially the season's almost over and everything, going into this judging position, what were some of the things that you knew were wrong with FD beforehand that you knew you wanted to fix coming into it?
All right, so the misconception is people think I could just come in there and fix everything.
True. Yeah, sorry.
All right, so, no, I know what you're saying. So, first of all, like, I respect with what those guys do.
Absolutely.
I come from the grassroots before going to FD. But I'm also not going to go in there and be like, oh, this is your house. Let me show you how to reorganize it. I'll suggest things. But I don't feel like me as coming as a new judge, I feel like that would be disrespectful to Brian. It would be disrespectful to the staff and Robbie. Yeah. And even Vernon, for me to come in there and be like, nah, it has to be like, no, I don't think that's right.
I wasn't trying to picture.
No, I know. But, you know, just so
kicking down the door or anything.
Waving the 4-4s, you know what I mean? So, one thing I was kind of on the fence about was the 2 second rule when I first started. And I was like, I don't know about that. And then later on, it got switched to a 1 second rule. So, there's little tidbits like that. But I think too, like, if you decide to just keep on changing things every round, it develops an inconsistency, which is a word that's been used a lot this year. But I think this is with anything else. I would never want to make a change without like running it by a driver.
Yeah.
Or drivers and like, yeah, we all agree with this. We're all good. Like majority votes. I feel like that's kind of the way to do it. And I'm not saying that's not how they do it. I mean, I've seen it happen like that. So I think really the only thing that I feel like we need to do is a better job of conveying the information, explaining things to people in the right time, creating a time and a space. And they started doing it in Utah. They started asking the judges more. Oh, let's go back to the judges. I want to see what the judges say about that.
Yeah.
So they started incorporating it. And what I think is happening is drifting has grown so much over the last couple of years that now more people are interested and now asking, I need clarification on this rule.
More questions are coming to light.
More questions. When before, I think people were just like, oh, this is cool. Let's just watch it. I don't know how they judge it, but whatever. But now people care. And I don't really have any issues with it because coming up in Philadelphia, I've seen Sixer fans, Eagles fans, Flyers fans, Philly fans that are fanatics, right? I'm only well versed with basketball, and you always meet that one person that understands the game but doesn't understand basketball. So you'll hear him say things, you're like, that's not right. That's what we have in drifting. We have people that like it, but they don't really know the ins and outs, so they just like say whatever.
Yeah, like when they speak, the terminology is just off.
Yeah, they kind of get lost in translation a little bit there. So I think that's what happens. I think it's really just that. But I think over time, we're just going to do a better job of just communicating and explaining things. Maybe having an opportunity. I was thinking about. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I'm pretty sure we're going to push for it a little bit. Where like, hey, listen, I think it's a good idea before we get into the battles, we discuss what we discussed in the drivers' meeting. In the drivers' meeting, the drivers have decided that for this competition, this, and this is what's going to go into effect. So we're all on the same page. An example I used in another podcast was, I think last year, Novak was riding the foot brake a lot in Irwindale. That was talked about at the drivers' meeting and was allowed as per the drivers.
Yeah.
But no one knew that. And I think if the fans would have had that message conveyed to them, they would have been like, oh, well, they asked for that. They may not have agreed with it, but at least they would have been like, well, this is what the drivers asked for. I forget exactly who it was that asked for it, but someone was like, I need the left foot brakes just so I can keep my car up there. Yeah. And I think there was like, oh, do we all agree on that? And I think they said yes, and boom. It went through. I wasn't a judge then. I was a spotter then, and I was dealing with what we were dealing with Chelsea. So I was kind of in and out. But I remember that's how that all transpired. Had the fans would have known that, hey, this is what the drivers asked for, maybe there wouldn't have been such a backlash at that particular event, because they were saying some crazy things about Novak, but they didn't know the backstory of it. Yeah. So that's a small example of like, maybe we should start explaining what's going on in this drivers meeting. I understand that before maybe we didn't think we needed to because it wasn't that important.
Would there be an ability to like record? Obviously, you wouldn't want to record the entire drivers meeting. There's some stuff that doesn't.
No, I think we should do a recap, maybe.
But like, no. It doesn't even need to be like live or anything. I would just say record it. That way, you can cut the important parts describing how the comp's going to be ran, any specifics that need to be known, and then you can literally just play it back.
I think
during all of the ads
a variation of that is right.
Or when the announcers, like if they're, because they go on repeat sometimes. And remember, guys, they're looking for this, and like if they did that type of spill and then just had a little pop up on the screen of like, them explaining it or whatever.
I think I think all those are great ideas. And I think those are things that I don't know what the formula is going to be. I mean, it could be as easy as me and Jacobs saying, hey, like this is what we went over in the drivers meeting.
Yeah.
And done. These are the key important points. Or what you said.
Yeah.
I think that's really the key. And here's another thing too. I don't think anyone is wrong or right about their call. I think depending where you came up and how you learned how to drift, you may have a different perception of what a certain call may be.
Absolutely.
And in America, I don't think we all are on the same boat with how something should be, because they drive different in the West Coast and Texas and East Coast and Midwest. Everyone has a different it's the same, but there's a little different twang in there.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where the confusion happens. Well, I grew up, this was this. Oh, well, this is this for me over here. So I think that's where the translate. That's where I feel like we come in and say, hey, listen, at this competition, this weekend, this is what we're looking for. This is what the law is. I think, or a variation of that, right? I'm loosely saying it.
Yeah.
That's what will really help in the future. And I think we're going to make strides in order to do that. And we've had conversations, with Brian and stuff like that, and Vernon and Robbie and Ryan Sage. So I think we're going to do that in the future, and it can only get better, It really can only get better, We got rid of, I know some people wish we had qualifying, but I kind of like I like seeing battles. I don't like seeing solo runs. If I want to see solo runs, there's a million other drift events I can go to watch solo runs.
Yeah.
I don't want to see solo runs. I want to see tandem. I want to see people go at it. Sorry. That's just what I like, Oh, I like single runs. I'm like, that's because you can't tandem. I don't know what to tell you, dude. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, well, I guess as far as how do you think? Because most people obviously they want to be humble. So, how do you think all of your experience, especially being a big veteran in the sport, gives sounds bad too. Why do you think you have the ability to make the judgment calls or have the jobs? Because anyone, you hear, I guess, people complaining about judges, but they'll never be it. Or
right.
You're basically just signing up to be a punching bag. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So
it's easy for you to say you want to be a judge.
Yeah.
That's not the hard part. The hard part is the judgment placed on you afterwards.
Yeah.
And no one's going to sit here and feel sorry for the judge. And you may think you could be like, I'm just going to make this call. But then when you have to walk around with that, knowing, and it doesn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
But for some people, it does. I think what happened was, it's not like they're like, hey, do you just want to be a judge? Nah.
Yeah.
I was judging pro-ams. I was judging the Gambler. And this was all taught by Ryan Lontaine and mainly Brian Eggert. So they've been especially Brian has been training me to do the judging thing based around the same formula he's been doing.
Yeah.
So a lot of the pro-ams over the last few years, when we were doing them, the Gamblers, any gig that I've gotten where I get to go judge, I've gone to North Dakota, all around the country, I've gotten to judge events. So it's almost like they were training me in order for that to happen. Obviously, the rules are a little bit different depending where you go and what they have put in place. Mm-hmm. That wasn't really the training part. The training part was you're going to have to sit there and deal with someone who's upset with you about a call that you made, and that's what I had to deal with. Yeah. So I think because I showed an interest that I wanted to do it, and I was looking a way to make money too, right? It's it's a job, and might as well integrate this way. It allows you to do that. And I think having that type of experience is what allowed that. And then being a spotter for Chelsea, being a spotter for Alec Robbins, being a spotter for other guys there in Pro 2 or Pro Spec, it was Brian Wadman and then Matt Kaufman. Matt was... I miss Matt. I wish Matt was... I talked to him the other day.
He is one... I swear to God, he's the most humble dude I've ever met.
That dude is That dude's awesome. I love talking to that dude. He just, every time I talk to him, he's just like, hey, what's going on, man?
Yeah. And
I'm just like, what are you doing? Just on the toga. That dude's on the toga. That dude lives on the toga.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That dude's a J. I like him a lot. But yeah, you're going to all of that and you have that experience of being around, being in the paddock, dealing with all these dudes. That's what kind of led into that. So when Chelsea retired, because my name was brought up before about possibly being a judge.
Yeah.
But when they realized me and Chelsea were so close, they're like, it's going to be a conflict of interest. Not that they said it's going to be, but we just kind of insinuated it's probably going to be. But when he decided to retire, and then Lontaine retired at the same time, just no one knew about that because Chelsea retired. It was like, oh, Chelsea. Lontaine didn't get didn't get a spotlight. You know what I mean? It opened the door, and I had that conversation with Sage. I'm like, hey, listen, let's see if this could even be a possibility. Mm-hmm. And from my understanding, he spoke to Brian and a bunch of other people. And it was all good. They were like, I think he can definitely pull this off. It's not an issue. He's he has the tough skin for it. It's always that. It's like, do you have the tough skin for this? I'm like, yeah, I'm not worried about it at all. I have nothing against any of those drivers. All those drivers are like, a lot of them are my friends. A lot of them come up and just ask me questions. Hey, listen, man, blah, blah, blah. And, I see it this way. I know you see it a different way. Mm-hmm. I think the best thing is that those drivers all know that in the heat of the argument, I'm not going to care. I'm not saying you should do it. But if you come up to me and you like lash out, I know it's just for that moment.
Yeah.
I know it's just because you're going through some shit. I don't know. Maybe your truck is messed up or who knows. Mm-hmm. And on top of all that, you just lost your battle. So I understand that life happens and drifting is part of your life. Mm-hmm. And you're probably going through a lot of stuff right now and you're upset. Yeah. I will never hold it against them the next day.
Dude, in today's age, that's become a massive skill at this point, which to me is like, why wouldn't that just be common sense?
Well, yeah, you're right.
About others. Don't get so stuck in your own bubble.
Especially if you're signing up to be a judge, that's what comes with it. And I feel, at least for me, I felt like I need to be able to go up to them, understand that they're going to be upset.
Yeah,
they may say some things that they don't mean, and it's okay. Because if I was upset, I probably would have done the same thing too. We're only human. Yeah. Like that dude doesn't really think of me that way. It's just that at that particular moment, he wants to bury you.
Yeah. We'll drink a beer later. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, you'll be good. And they always come back later on. They're like, hey, I was just a little hot. Blah, blah, blah. And it's all good. Yeah. And then we just go on and everything's great.
For sure. Well, do you believe that controversy is like a good thing for FD and just drifting in general?
Yeah, that's why we put it in the script.
That was a good one.
I think...
So FD's not scripted? No way.
Listen, if it was, I'm not...
That'd be hard.
There's two things wrong with this, with that whole script thing. And I get people like, oh, who's paying you? One, I would air them out.
Yeah.
If they were like, yo, we're going to have to do this, I'm like, this is going to be a rough couple of hours for you. Because when I walk away, I'm going to air you out. Robbie said the same thing. He would air them out. Yeah. Brian would have done. No one's going to. And even if I was the type of person that wouldn't air them out, you would have to pay me way more money to live this lie.
Oh, yeah.
You'd have to pay a shit ton of money.
How much does a judge make? How much does a judge make? If you don't mind.
I think I do pretty good, but I think the guys above me should make more than me, and I think they do because they just have the experience.
Gotcha.
So I came in and they were like, hey, look, this is the deal. Entry. And I was like, oh, that's fair. I get that. Let me show my worth. Mm-hmm. And we go from there. I can only assume with the experience that Robbie, Brian, and Vernon bring to the table, I don't see why they wouldn't be getting paid more.
You don't have to say a number, like a livable wage though.
Yeah.
Off of just that job. Like you could have a livable
Yeah, you could. Depending on how you're going. I mean, Vernon.
Right, obviously.
But I mean, Brian does a lot of other things as well too. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people that are involved in the drifting industry, they have 4 or 5 different ways of making money.
Right.
But it's all under the same umbrella in some aspect. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what goes on. Do I think I'm assuming Vernon's one of the only people I know that literally just makes a living off of doing that. Because he does so much. He travels everywhere to do that.
That's crazy.
Brian's involved in so many other things. He does U.S. drift. He does, he's involved with so many other, so I can only assume, a little bit here, a little bit there, whatever, But nobody ever strikes me as greedy.
That's awesome.
I feel like everybody just takes just enough and everybody are just very cautious about how they do. I'm sure someone has an example. This dude isn't like that, but for me, I don't get to see that. I get to see, luckily I get to see the good of everybody, so.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well,
you like that curve? You're like, yo, let me find out how much you.
No, that was actually take that part out so that. But yeah, that was a really good one.
No, leave it in there. Leave it in there, dude.
Fuck it, I'm cool with it.
Curve it.
Well, as far as I know, we talked about like the LZ call and then the no back stuff. Is there any other like major call that has stood out to you this year that probably should be clarified? I try to watch as much FD as possible, but I mean,
I do this really awesome thing called the breakdown. Yeah,
I've seen him. I've studied him a little bit.
I think the one that brought a little bit more was the Forsberg call. Mm-hmm. That got brought up just because he made a video and he did everything.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, you made a video." I'm like, "Hey, he's allowed to."
Mhm.
You know, we had data, but I understand that when a particular someone posts something,
Yeah.
there's a certain demographic that's going to back that up,
Right.
and I expect that to happen. I made the call, and I'm like, you know what? I just can't not go the way that I'm going right now. Because in my gut, I'm like, this is just the call.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking maybe one of them are going to go different. Not that that's affecting my call. But when I saw all three of us unanimously pick, I was like, it's one for one.
We're going to ride this one.
It's one thing for one or two people to be like, yeah. But for all three to be like, nah. I'm like, woo.
That's a hard hit right there.
Some people, when all the judges go, I'm not going to say exactly who the drivers are, but I mean, there's some drivers that when they like, yeah, but all of you guys sided that way. So like we super messed up. I'm like, don't look at it that way, dude. That's just three different perspectives. It's, no, but all three of you said no. And I'm like,
yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
But I try not to say that because like I understand they're spending a lot of money, they're doing all that. So it is a big deal to them. So I reframe from ever saying it's not a big deal. But because I understand where they're coming from. I mean, no one was perfect. We all say dumb shit sometimes, but I think everyone in that little community of drifters and stuff like that, they know the deal. Forsberg came over super respectful. Yeah. It's like, hey man, I just don't see where your guys are coming from that. We had a conversation. He made a video. We made our video. But honestly, I think that back and forth between drivers and staff sometimes is good. Because you know what would be the worst of that scenario? If no videos were being made because nobody cared.
Very true.
So if Forsberg didn't care enough to make the video, if I didn't care enough to do the break, which Ryan Sage asked me, he's like, yo, you guys used to do those videos. Do you want to do them over here for FD officially? So when I see fans get upset or a driver get upset, I'm like, well, this is good because people care. Maybe the context is a little controversial, but we need that type of stuff. If you have people that don't care, that aren't emotionally involved, that aren't going to bat for their driver, do you really have a fan base? So that's why you really can't get mad at the fans for doing what they do or being excited. Like they're just there. We are there for them. Yeah. Whether they like us, they hate us. That's just the way it goes with that. It'll never change. Pick any sport. That's just how the way.
Oh, of course, yeah. And that's why I don't want to dive too deep into a bunch of different calls and stuff. That's not my place. I'm no FD fanatic for one. Plus, you have the breakdown, like you said. So I'll leave that in the description as well. So that, no, seriously, like if you want to learn more about that stuff, like if you are one of those guys complaining on the internet, go watch it and actually learn something and realize why those calls are made the way they are.
And don't be upset. Like just ask us, like, yo, I don't see where you're coming with it. And then I'll try to give an explanation. Like, there's a lot of people that do reach out to me, that do slide into my DMs, that have constructive conversations with me. Yeah. Hey, I just want to know, no disrespect. I'm like, no disrespect taken. What do you want to know?
Those are the best people.
And I tell them, like, listen, dude, this is how the driver saw. I see, and I always say, I see why you see it this way. But this is just the way we went. And I think what people need to understand is, yes, we do make some calls that are like referee type calls, but we are not referees. We are judges. Yeah. And our job is to judge a call. Yeah. Not to say yay or nay. So if this judge goes one day, this judge goes one day, and this judge happens to go, you got a judgment call. That's literally the title, a judge. You made a judgment call. You know, when we say don't leave it in the hands of the judges, that means you're leaving it in our hands for us to analyze the situation and pass judgment on this call. I have no idea how much clearer that could be. Right. You know, whether you like it or not, that can be up for debate, but that doesn't change anything. And we can't let, and I've said this before in other places, I will never let an external influence play a role in how I'm going to make a judge call. Because then why am I a judge? Yeah. So it just takes a certain fan base to get pissed off at me, and then I'm going to change the way I judge. Yeah. Then I shouldn't be a judge. That would fracture what it is, the foundation of what it is to be a judge. And that's just not the way it is. You know, like we just stick to our guns. That's what we do. Sometimes you'll win some, sometimes you lose some. For every driver that sits there and tells me, you screwed me on this one, I can go back and find one where I gave it to you. Yeah. So you can't sit here. Everyone will.
Is there one from this year that you think was probably wrong?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, cool.
No. You mean judgment call wise?
Yeah.
No. Let me explain. Like the last battle in Utah, there was a couple where I was like, I don't agree with that. I want it in a different way. It was Ben Hobson and Odie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I said that somewhere else where I just thought, was it Odie? No, it was Ben Hobson and
I don't remember.
Ben
honestly.
Hobson and Taguchi.
Oh.
Ben Hobson had more angle, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have went with Ben Hobson. Would it have changed the outcome of the battle? No, because 2 other judges went with.
Right.
You know, so it wouldn't have changed it. So that's what I mean by no, it went the same way, but I may have went differently. But I have an idea of like that probably wouldn't have changed the outcome of what happened, even if I would have went.
Fair. Okay.
You know, like for instance, like Forsberg. I thought Forsberg should have beat Osbo at Utah because it was said that when you get into outside zone 2, you have to be on throttle. But if I go back, I saw Osbo. He's on throttle beforehand, gets into the zone, doesn't get on throttle, and messes up Forsberg. At least that's how I saw it. But the judges didn't see it that way. So that's what I mean by, yes, I don't think any of the calls are wrong, but I have gone in my voting a little bit different? Yeah, but that doesn't mean the overall call I think was wrong. I'm just giving my judgment on that. You know, I mean, I don't want to have that influence over the other judges, nor should we.
Absolutely. Well, cool. That's all I got on the calls and judgments and all that stuff. Is there anyone out of the field of drivers, either pro or pro spec, that has truly impressed you the most this year?
I have a few.
Name them all.
And it's not just because I was on RTR and I was last year, but James Dean, the way he progressed from year 1 in the Mustang to year 2, insane.
True. Yeah.
Insane. I don't know what's going on R&D wise with the cars or what changes have they done, or it's just because I'm not there anymore.
Yeah.
Or it's just James just being a god behind the wheel. But I love watching that. So I really enjoyed that. But it's like it's James, right?
Yeah.
Adam's E36 now, the way he drives it, is probably aesthetically my most favorite thing to watch because it's very aggressive. He just hucks it into corners and then digs out.
Yeah.
Right. May not be the best scenario for every battle, but it looks cool as hell.
Very. Yeah.
Matt Field Matt Field made a video a while ago where he was driving with Julian Jacobs, where he gave him his old FD car and said, hey, you set it up the way you want to. Mm-hmm. We're going to shoot a video together driving. I went up to him at Seattle and I'm like, yo, I think it's a really great idea that you're practicing with Julian.
Yeah.
But I said it through walking. And then later on, he came back to me. He's like, you're the only person that realized that I was training and practicing with Julian instead of making content. And I'm like, you were practicing your transitions. He's like, no one picked that up. Or at least no one that spoke to him. And that if you go back, that's what he's doing. Huh. Fast forward to Seattle, you see the fruits of his labor and his transitions get better. Or at least I noticed it because I'm watching him.
Yeah.
And he ended up losing because something happened. He ended up maybe cutting the line or something like that. But what I'm basically trying to say is I saw the progression of his flow and it wasn't so jaggedy. It was very more timed and scrubbing into the corner. It looked more like S chassis type of like what.
Gotcha.
So he was testing that out and it looks smoother. And it's funny because I remember in the beginning of the season, I told Dan Chow, his spotter, I'm like, yo, man, that's twitchiness needs to go. You need to do something about that. Like, I'm not going to let that ride. Yeah. And he was like, I was kind of seeing that too. I'm like, all right, so we're on the same boat. You know, again, having that type of rapport with someone means you can casually go up to me like, yo, you got to fix this, dude. Yep. And it's all good. So I think he did a really great job.
What the constructive criticism, I mean, dude? Like that to me, that's the best thing ever. Yeah, if I'm wrong, fucking tell me.
Yeah, and we're just trying. It's not. We're not telling you this so you can drive shitty.
Yeah,
we're telling you because it's like, yo, man, this is what I see. Do your thing.
Absolutely.
Everyone. It's the level just gets.
It's like Luke too. Luke Fink. Everyone gets mad at him for
I don't know why. Why?
He wants people to be a better driver. Dude, he commented on my post, and I know for a fact if he would have done this to someone else, that is maybe a little more sensitive, they would have cried about it. But he told me I was using the handbrake too much for one.
Right.
He told me put my hands on the wheel and drive the fucking car. Like, stop, like, drive the damn thing. And I just pictured a million people like that would get mad about that. I've seen it.
Yeah, I mean,
to me, it's just silly. I'm like, thank you.
That happens.
I need that.
I think Luke. One, I love. I've been watching Luke's since the No Brain days when he would like drive this S13 over in like Wimbledon or something like that. I talked to him briefly. He's like, man, you were watching me for a while. So I think he's great. I think he drives great. It's funny as hell.
Yeah.
That's funny as hell.
Yeah.
I wish he was an FD. I'd love to see him out there.
I do too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think he'd do all right just in that Corvette.
Now with the Magnuson on it, absolutely.
I'd like to see it out there.
Yeah.
I wish he could do Super Street. You think he could do Super Street next year? I'm gonna get in trouble with my boss saying all this shit.
Cut.
No, I mean, it's all good. But it would be cool to see him out there.
I said it to him on his podcast.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, I wish someone would just pick you up. And it's like, Vaughn.
And it's hard. You know, it's hard. But I think I don't know why they get mad. I think he's fine. He's coming, direct. He's a little bit more old school. He's direct. I appreciate that being from the East Coast. He's Australian, you know, and that dude is really good. I think he really gets it. You know, maybe he's not your cup of tea, but whatever. That's why there's different flavors. But I don't know why.
Even down to the Barris, dude. It's like, why would I have the audacity to argue back with him? Even if I don't think he's right.
Yo, because it's easy if it's over the internet.
Yeah, it's 100. I mean, yeah, but like, maybe it's just my morals. I don't know. But like, he has way more experience than me. I'm just going to say, okay, cool, I'll try that.
Yeah, but absolutely. Some people just don't do that homework, bro.
I know.
They just don't do the homework.
Mind-boggling to me.
And that just goes back to us talking about, remember the fans that are fanatics about a certain sport, but they don't get the ins and outs. That just really comes down to it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll I don't even know. It's almost 2 hours. Okay. We'll just jump into the last few questions that we do in every episode. Yeah. Have you seen a full episode?
Yeah.
Okay, sick. Yeah. Thank you, by the way. Okay. If you had just an unlimited budget to spend at Injuku, what car would you choose and what parts would you pick off of their website?
I'm a big S chassis guy. Like, I know I drive Z's now, but like, I love my S chassis. That's what I started with. So there's a nostalgia attached to an S chassis. Mm-hmm. So I would get an S chassis. It just doesn't matter. Just whatever I want to put together. I mean,
unlimited budget. You could.
I mean, so an S15, you know, an S15, and because I've never had one, nor have I don't think I've ever driven one. And just the basic stuff. I mean, I would get coilovers, especially now with the way I would get an S15 and set it up for like a final belt type style thing and see if I can see if I could pawn my way on a team real quick. You know,
let me get a sticker.
Yeah, like the old man club or something. We all just show up like geezers or something like that. Like, it'd be great. He's like, yo, can we qualify now? Because like at 7 o'clock we'll be too tired.
Yeah, we're gonna be in bed.
So it would definitely just be coilovers, everything that I would need. I mean, unlimited budget. I mean, I'm throwing the, you know, I would build a car, so it wouldn't be.
Usually it's seat time, but like obviously you run a school. You've explained a seat time build a million times. So I'm curious what your glory build would be.
It would definitely be having the SR20 because there's a certain way to drive those things. Like I drive V8s, I drive EQs, I drive all these things, but
I want to drive an SR car.
There's a certain, you know, and I started with like KAs and SRs and KATs and all that. And there's just a certain like whip with it's different.
Now that I'm on a turbo car and with an RB25 and stuff, I understand.
Yeah, you like wind up and it just whips into a corner and then you just get back on.
Surge in the turbo.
The lag helps you, delivers the grip a little bit better, then it comes back in. It's a whole other way of going about it. You know what I mean? And I think it's cool that you can have a V8 car, you can have a 1JZ, you can have an SR20. I want to have them all. So this way it's like, oh, who are we driving with today? Oh, I'll bring this car up. Who we driving? And I know that sounds like, well, I don't have all those cars though, you know. But in a perfect world, that's what I would have. So in this situation, I would have an S chassis. So I could now that would fit the bill for like a final bout or a stylistic type of event.
Yeah.
And go to that because I think it would be cool to drive those events. There's a lot of rippers that are there. You know, I would love to go to like the Midwest and drive with all those dudes and where they do all the stuff over in Wisconsin. I mean. All those guys, Club FR and all those dudes. I mean, I've been to Drift Indy. I've been to Drift Indy a bunch of times. I love going. Drift Indy's like a second home.
Yeah.
But I like going to other places and driving with other people. I love to drive with Simba. Like Simba's like, or any of the guys that used to be part of like Risky Dove or Proceed or any of those dudes. Like I've known about all of them. Like I remember I used to watch videos of this dude named Rob Ritter. I don't know if you know who that dude is, but he used to have like these crazy like videos of him drifting over in Japan and stuff. I used to watch that shit religiously because he had like a left-hand drive 240 in Japan. And and then I think he had some like downhill stuff and like there were just certain dudes, you know. I remember way back there used to be this big group of Miata guys and they had this t-shirt and Rob was on it, Dan Savage was on it, Chelsea was on it. These were all the OGs that had Miatas back in that era.
Yeah.
And Rob was one of them. So I would have to build a car that fits that vibe so then I could go drive that subculture of drifting. Because I can get to do everything else.
Everything else is covered.
But if it's unlimited budget, then I probably would get big lip wheels because like I don't care what anybody says. That's what I like. That's what I started watching. Like if you give me some Workmeisters, like big lip that, I'm down.
Yeah, you'll never go wrong with some
I don't think there's
Meisters,
anything
bro.
cooler than someone with a well-kitted car with like baller ass wheels. 50% of it's showing up to the drift event looking that way. But if you can leave the drifting event with your car and you drove really hard and your car still looks the same.
Or virtually the same from 30 feet.
Or virtually the same. Like
you did it.
But if it looks like immaculate by the time you left and you were ripping, there's a certain demographic that looks at you like, yeah, you fucked. Bro.
That's what's up.
you're out here getting it. I respect that, you know.
Absolutely.
And those little conversations, that's what I feel like sometimes doesn't happen. I'm all about people having fun and kumbaya. I'm all about that. But then there's other conversations where I like when people start pushing people like, if you go a little bit wider there, might be what you're looking for. You know, I like that. I like people pushing and improving. Yeah. So that's what I would get. I would get an S15 that's ballered the hell out.
Awesome.
And I just throw every last penny at that point. Rock it out, you know.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I know you kind of answered this earlier, but what would your best piece of advice be to anyone just getting into drifting?
Obviously, you know, have a C-time car. I have a drift school. My drift school, the majority that I see people now are sim drifters that come to my school. I've kind of turned into this whole, if you're a sim drifter, you can transition into being an IRL drifter. And that's what's been happening. So I definitely think a sim is great.
Yeah.
So I don't want to leave that out. I'm about the sims. I sim. I like it. It's fun. Mostly togeys now.
Yeah, I'm feeling the pressure now.
Yeah,
it's
let me tell you why.
And then, of course, Adam starts the whole Sim HQ thing. And I'm like, motherfucker, dude, I'm so behind now.
That dude's
he's
a
genius.
That dude's smart.
Yeah, props to you.
I would say when COVID happened, my roommate ended up getting the sim. So I had no work. So I had a whole month to figure it out. So I understand why now it might be harder for people our age to find the time to just blow on something for a whole week. But I had a whole month to figure that thing out.
Yeah.
And I figured it out and I enjoy it. So I do the toge stuff. I think it's really cool. I think it's a really good tool. I do see that there is some bad habits that translate over, but they're very quickly adjusted.
Yeah.
All right. So definitely that. But like I said earlier, the number one thing outside from seat time and having everything set up, you need to have a good group of people around you, a good group of friends that are going to unselfishly donate their time to you.
Yeah.
Because you're going to go into the pits tomorrow and you're going to see a driver and they're going to have a crew with them. And those dudes will go to hell for that dude.
Yeah.
Because they just want to see their boy out there ripping and possibly get a ride along. If you don't have that type of structure around you, I just think it's going to be hard. So find a good set of boys or friend group, whoever you are, whether you're a chick or not, get out there, treat them good, because at the end of the day, they don't need to be there.
Yeah.
They are donating this time They're sometimes not getting fed, sometimes sleeping in the truck. They're the ones that go through it just so you can go out there and look good. So look who's around you and appreciate who you got, and make sure you have some good friends around you. And if that is the case, everything else will fall in place.
That's good advice. All right. And then if you had, this was a little deeper, but if you had the opportunity to speak to the entire world, what would your one message be?
Just about anything?
Yeah.
Dude, if you don't use it, you lose it, dude. So like I'm getting older and like I feel it, man. Like I sit down, like when I get up, I'm gonna make noises getting up. Like, ooh.
No, dude, yeah, you know? My back is completely fucked.
Anytime I go to another country, I just see how unhealthy we are. So, especially when
I've never even been out of the country.
When I go to Colombia, I'm just like, we're horrible. Now, obviously, there's our food situation and all that. It's a whole other thing. But my advice to people would be like, worship your body. Understand that we're only on here for a small time on this rock. And really just value the time that you have. Try to be healthy, not just for being healthy. Just be healthy so you can enjoy more of life. Absolutely. And I think that's what I've slowly started to realize as I'm growing up. Everything that I do is cool, but if you're not mentally or physically healthy, like you really can't enjoy that stuff. So as you get older, you should definitely think about that. If you're younger, enjoy life. Don't take it too serious because nobody cares anyway.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Fucking right.
Yeah, 2 weeks, nobody will remember.
Dude, actually, if you learn that, you'll be able to get through a lot of things in life. Yeah. Nobody gives a shit. Everything's your fault.
Only you do. Yeah. Like that person's going to walk away and then they're going to have they have probably a whole sled of problems that you don't know about.
True. All right. And then, so that's actually all we got. But I do want to preface, I know a lot of you guys are going to say that I didn't tackle this question or that question or whatever. I don't have signal for one to do the questions on Instagram that I made a story about.
We're in the middle of nowhere right now.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. So I apologize. Hopefully I tackled those. But again, if any of you guys want any more answers to anything, go find his content. I will leave it in the description. Reach out to him. Respectfully, reach out to him.
Or come drive.
He will answer you, just respectfully.
Yeah, come drive with me or something.
Yeah, that too.
I'd be great. I had one guy who tandem with me. He's like, yo, now that we tandem, like, I didn't agree with this.
At least you did it, dude.
That's a hell of a way to break the ice, dude. He's like, yeah, now that you know I can drive. He drove really good. And I was just like, we had the conversation. But again, it's all been love. And you're
Absolutely.
Right. People are very respectful. And for the ones that aren't, like, it's very far in between. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's all cool. Nothing to cry about.
All right. Well, if you want, or plug yourself, plug anyone you want to shout out, or
so if you guys want to come to the drift school to learn how to drift, you can go to driftschoolevergreen and .com, and you have all the information there. You can find me on IG, Drift School Evergreen or Reese Marin. Definitely showing a lot of love over to Drift Appalachia. If you don't know what Drift Appalachia is and you've been underneath a rock,
you should by the end of this episode.
You should go check it out. And make sure you check out the breakdown that we do with FD, explaining whether I'm judging that event or not. We explain all the calls. And yeah, just hit me up if anything. It's very cash. It's we're just regular dudes.
Hell yeah.
Concrete surfing, concrete surfers. That should be a t-shirt.
That should shit for
someone's gonna take that
skateboard company.
100%.
Take that one. Cool. Well, yeah, I really appreciate it for one making the time. I know it's actually kind of late right now, but
we're gonna go see who's at the paddock and see what's up.
Oh yeah, we're gonna
see if anybody's down. Someone should be down there working on a car.
I guarantee it.
I bet you the British dude's down there working on his car still. He messed up. Wasn't his fault though, but he's out there working probably right now.
Shout out to him. Hopefully he gets it fixed. All right. Well, yeah, that's all we got. So, of course, look below the video. Make sure the subscribe button's pressed. Links to everything you will always need are always in the description. And don't forget about the ride-alongs. Fuel Fest Atlanta, October 19th. Be there. Grab your tickets. I'll put that in the description as well. But that's all we got. So, thanks you. Jesus. Thank you. I will see you each and every Sunday for a brand new episode.
Staying way up to the ceiling. Trust no bitch, can't catch no feelings. I've been taking long flights from the Bay to Ibiza. Hit home runs, I'm a ball like Jeter. I just want fuck, then I leave her. I'm a young pop star, call the boy Justin Bieber. Got a little money if you want, I can teach her. Whole life a movie, you